I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, putting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Dreadedconservative! Let's go to Target!
I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, putting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target!
Welcome to the show. It's Monday night. We're kicking the week off right with the Dreadedconservative show. Guys, it's July. It's July, and you know what July is. You know what July is, and we need to, as we always do here in July, we need to bring it in with the song, with the White History Month song from Trevor Wesley. And I think, I don't know about this, but I think Made by Jim Bob made this video. I'm not sure about that but it plays one of his little sound clips in the beginning. You'll hear, but I'm not sure. But this is Trevor Wesley, guys. It's White History Month. Let's go. Hold on. All right, let's go.
You don't have to go too
All kind of isms. Isms. Beta.
Right? Drogo.
See?
Daddy and I are never going to get a divorce. But
E black.
if we did,
It's
we would
amazing.
love you both just
E
as
black.
much.
Oh, yeah.
It's a relief. Thank you, Mom. Hit the play button.
I have a major
announcement
right now. The 1st of July is White
History
Month. So the whole month is White History Month from now on. Happy White History Month.
It's White History Month. I'm gonna celebrate with my friends. It's White History Month. So be sure to tell everyone. There will always be different months to celebrate. This month's gonna be White History. It's White
History Month, and I'm gonna celebrate America. It's White History Month, and I'm gonna scream it to everyone. There will always be different months to celebrate, but this month's gonna be White History.
It's okay to be white. Nice. All right. It's White History Month, guys. You know what that means. All month, we're going to celebrate some great men throughout history. Today, at the end of the show, I'm going to try to have some time to go through some, also slip in some debate prep into the show today, but we're going to look at great Christian rulers and empires throughout history, from Constantine to the Byzantine empires. And, you know, they're Christian nations and Christian rulers and Christian empires, but they also just so happen to be white. So great empires and kings and rulers and leaders throughout history. You know, that's what we celebrate in White History Month. The best culture this side of heaven, the best empires, the best engineering, the best medical advancements, inventions, everything. Maybe not the best basketball players, but we're better at other things. Everybody gets what, they can, and we have Black History Month. We got Gay History Month. We got Indigenous People Month. We got Latin American Month, which is September 15th to October 15th. So they get 2 halves of 2 months. Unfortunately, the Black people get the shortest month of the year, but we give them Juneteenth to make up for it in the middle of Gay Month. Ladies got a month. What about White History Month? It's July. July just feels white. Shout out JLP. We've been celebrating White History Month with him for like 6 years now. 5 or 6 years. The best flat earthers. We do got the best flat earthers too, unfortunately. So that's what we're going to do. And, tonight for White History Month, a great white man in history. One of the greatest. They say he's one of the best. Donald Trump. And Elon, another great white man in history who might actually be the Antichrist. We got more Trump and Elon updates this week. More stuff about Trump and Elon. Trump and Elon back at it again. The big beautiful bill has passed. We'll look at in the Senate, both House and Senate. Well, no, it passed in the Senate. We'll look into this big beautiful bill stuff. We've talked about it before, but now we got to talk about it more. And Trump and Elon's feud reignites. Trump threatens to deport Elon to South Africa. Let him go over there, be a farmer, see how he handles it. So much light in the world. Elon is the most successful African American ever born. Yeah, but they don't get to claim him. He's white. He's a white man. This Texas flooding, rapid flooding, taking out, I think the death count's up to like 87 by now, and the camp, the little girls' camp got flooded. We'll look into all that stuff. And then there was one other thing. Something about Trump and Elon. Where's my notes? Where's my show notes? There they are. Oh, Alligator Alcatraz. Trump tours Alligator Alcatraz. White liberal cat ladies lose their freaking mind again over some chain link fence, as if these people have never seen a fence before. Texas flood, it's a thing. Yeah, we'll talk about the Texas flood. We'll talk about Alligator Alcatraz. All that stuff in the main story news. Lots of interesting news in rapid fire as well. Little stories. The Diddy trial verdict. The California firework explosions. John Jones coming back to the UFC just so that he can fight in the White House next year. You got a year to get clean, John. Lay off the drugs. Stop banging Taiwanese ladyboys. John Jones wants to come back to the UFC because I think Trump poked him. Trump has said that John Jones was his favorite UFC fighter before. Remember when John won the dance and won and he did the Trump dance, but it was like a fruity version of the Trump dance. He was like, hey, and he kind of like waved at Trump. He went, ah, remember when he did that? That was cringe. Come on, John. That's when we started questioning the amount of sugar in the gas tank. No due process was present when they jumped the border, so no due process going out. I agree. Or I would just say the due process is deportation. I learned that immigration is not, it's not in the same category as criminal law proceedings. So it is still a crime, but it's a what's the word? It starts with an A. It's like an assembly, not an assembly procedure. It's not handled by the same thing. So like that's why they don't get due process, because it's I can't think of the word. I didn't plan on talking about this, but something James Klug was talking about in one of his videos. He had a rebuttal for the due process people. I seen a video of these liberals who are trying to do what conservatives do best, which is the man on the street stuff. Liberals suck at the man on the street stuff, going to protests and doing like interviews and getting like the gotchas and getting people to say really dumb stuff. And the conservatives are way better at the man on the street protest content. But these liberals went to the Trump parade on No King's Day, on Trump's birthday. Some liberals went to the Trump thing in Washington, in DC, and they were trying to do the like man on the street stuff, and they were talking about due process with Trump supporters. And you know, to be fair, when you go to these protests and stuff and you talk to people, most of the people there are idiots and they're just in mob mentality for both sides. And so when you ask them all these questions and you're coming prepared, it's very easy to like come out looking smarter than them and they look dumb. Or you get to pick like the dumbest looking people, and you can always cut the interviews where there's actually a smart person who gets you. It's not very often I'll see somebody post content like that where they get like bodied by the person that they're interviewing. And I'm sure it happens sometimes. Every now and then they run into a destiny on the street. Like start spurging out on them. But they were talking about due process and they're like, you don't have a definition of due process? What's your definition of due process? And he said, my definition of due process is you get a judge, you get a fair trial, you get a lawyer. And I said in the comments, I was like, you did not even give a definition of due process. You gave what due process does. It'd be like if I said the definition of water is you can take a shower in it or go swimming in it or drink it. That's not the definition of water. That's not the definition of due process. Y'all are acting like, I'm so smart. I'm smarter than all these Trump supporters. You're a fucking idiot. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into this bill, this one big, beautiful bill from the Tax Foundation. First, we need to learn some of the things that are in the bill. I have the full bill pulled up, but as you know, these bills are usually like 5,000 pages, and the media is talking about like 3 lines. They'll pick the most egregious 3 lines. Both sides will do this, whether it's the Infrastructure Reduction Act or the Big Beautiful Bill. Both sides, when they're reporting on it, they're going to find the most egregious things and they're going to report on those things. To better understand it, you need a little bit of like legal knowledge, which, you know, I got some because I've been locked up, but so I got a little bit of legal knowledge. Did a little jailhouse lawyering myself. But you got to like read the whole bill, and nobody does that. But at least in the Trump administration, I can find the whole bill and read it. Whereas with like the 5,000 page Inflation Reduction Act bills and the Democrat bills, they're like 5,000 pages. You got to read the bill to vote on the bill, but you can't read the bill until you vote on the bill. They're not as transparent. It's one of the reasons I love Trump as well, is the transparency, the sheer amount of media interaction, interviews. You know, you don't see Democrats do that. You didn't see Kamala doing that. You didn't see Biden doing that. Because if they spend as much time as they did in front of cameras like Trump did, it would be a problem. It would not be good. Sure, Trump slips up every now and then, but guess what? As somebody who streams, 20 to 30 hours every weekend, if you're in front of the camera for long, extended periods of time and you're just talking extemporaneously, sometimes you might say something dumb. I don't think anybody can avoid that. Sometimes you might get it wrong, But we got the bill. I'm not going to read through the whole bill, but I'll just show it to you. We'll skim through it a little bit. But first, let's read this from Tax Foundation. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Senate Republicans have passed legislation to extend many provisions of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, alongside dozens of new provisions. Following broadly similar legislation passed by House Republicans, any comprehensive tax legislation is going to have its wrinkles, and the One Big Beautiful Bill is no different. We have previously published estimates of the budgetary, economic, and distributional effects of the House legislation and the Senate legislation, and this post will dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Senate package, particularly in contrast to the House bill. The good, both the House and Senate bills make some smart tax cuts and revenue increases. Most of the good tax policy aligns with Tax Foundation's principle of stability. Senate bill makes permanent the House bill's provision allowing expensing for investments in short-lived assets and domestic research and development. Permanent expensing has the most bang for the buck when it comes to economic growth. In the context of the full Senate bill, the two provisions boost long-run GDP by 0.7% by providing taxpayers the certainty they need to boost long-run investment. The Senate, long run, like 4 years, and then they can mess it all up again. Hold on, let me get my. Where's my? Yeah. Okay, cool. Senate bill also makes permanent TCJA's less restrictive limitation on interest deductions. Both bills provide a permanently higher threshold for expensing certain equipment for smaller businesses. That's Section 179, expensing. House and Senate bills both secure permanent extensions of the rates and brackets of 2017 individual tax cuts, providing certainty. Guys, this stuff, I'm not an economist. I'm kind of just a broke guy. If I was good with money, I wouldn't be a broke guy. But initially, the Senate finance draft retained 10,000 cap on the state and local salt deduction, state and local tax deduction. However, the final Senate version raises the SALT cap to $40,000, adjusted by 1% annually for taxpayers earning less than $500,000 from 2025 to 2029, before reverting to the $10,000 cap permanently afterwards. This approach is still preferable to the House bill, which makes the $40,000 SALT cap for taxpayers earning less than $500,000 permanent. Regarding the estate and gift tax, the bills institute a permanent and inflation-adjusted exemption level of $15 million beginning in 2026. What's the bad? The bills spend far too much on political gimmicks and carve-outs. They both introduce tax exemptions for overtime pay and tips. Hallelujah. A deduction for auto loan interest and additional standard deduction available for some seniors, all of which violate basic tax principles of treating taxpayers equally. Well, how is cutting tips and overtime? Well, maybe tips, because if they make the majority of their money off tips, why don't they have to pay taxes on their tips? Like, I don't really get the tip thing, but the overtime thing, that's equal. Everybody who works overtime can get their taxes off their overtime, unless, I guess it maybe is not equal, because if you work at a job where you don't get paid extra for overtime, but that's your fault. Find a new job. Why are you not getting paid for overtime extra? No taxes on overtime should have been like, dude, no taxes on overtime is huge. It's huge. I'm working 30 hours a day. Like, usually when my job offers overtime, sometimes I'll stay an extra half an hour or an extra hour after, but coming in on a day off, I make more money streaming. I'm not gonna, and I'm still probably not gonna not stream just so I could work a day off on my day off, but I'd definitely be staying late more, because I'm like decentivized to work overtime, because I end up making like less than my hourly pay. I'll work a day of overtime and I'm like, there should be like, there should be a day is like $120. Overtime, I should have like an extra $150, $200 on my check. And there's like $40 extra on my check for working a whole day of overtime. And I'm like, what? That's not even worth it. Coming in on my day off and I get like $40? No. But now, no tax on overtime? Shoot. We working 30-hour days, boys. I'm actually looking into going into another job because of the no tax on overtime. Does your job not pay you extra? Yeah, a lot of places, I think that's more like an independent contractor thing or something. Or unless you're on salary. Right? Salary is where you get paid the same no matter how many hours you work, right? I think. So yeah, I would want to be somewhere where you get that overtime pay. Because your pay will go from $20 an hour to $30 an hour. With no, I'm guessing that means not even the basic tax rate on overtime. So totally no taxes means you getting straight up $30 an hour. If you're making $20 an hour, your overtime, if you're making $20 an hour after taxes, you're actually only making like $17, $18 an hour. But then when you work that overtime, you're jumping from $18 an hour after taxes to $30 an hour after taxes. If it's 40 plus a week. Oh, you work 30 hours a week on salary. But on your salary, the way salary works, even if you work 41 hours, you're still getting paid like you worked 30 hours, right? Because a lot of places I worked where they do salary for like the managers always told me they hated it, because as soon as they get you on that salary, they're going to work you as much as they can. Because they only got, they're paying you for 40 hours a week or whatever, but they're going to keep you there 50 hours a week. Because they know that they don't got to pay any extra. They let you get 30 hours so you get no full-time benefits. Oh, yeah. They don't have to pay you like a full-time worker. They keep you stopped at 30. But so I don't see why in the bad they put this no tax on overtime thing. What? Because it's not fair for some people. It's not equal. Complicated eligibility restrictions for some new deductions reduce the cost somewhat, but it would be better to not introduce bad ideas in the first place. Well, the Americans don't think that's a bad idea. We voted for that. So I don't know what this is talking about. They just don't like it because MAGA likes it. Because we have jobs. Maybe that's the big difference. Like, yeah, the Democrats don't really care about no tax on overtime because they ain't even working regular time. And they're pissed because they're going to lose all their benefits if they don't get a damn job. That's my favorite part. I've been saying that for years. If you want food stamps and housing, and you're able-bodied, then you got to go to work. Because the way it currently is, they disincentivize you from getting a job, because if you get a job and you start having an income that you have to report to the food stamp place and the housing place, then they say, well, you don't get your benefits anymore because you have a job now. And I don't think so. That encourages like homeless people and indigent people, quote unquote, to not go get a job, to just stay on the government, on the taxpayer dime, you know, as long as possible. And they milk it. And they milk it as soon as they, you know, maybe they like hurt themselves or something. They're taking some time off. As soon as they see that finish date coming up, they'll go see the state psychologist and tell them, well, now I got anxiety and depression and bipolar and schizophrenia, and so I can't work. I'm mentally not fit to work. And the psychologist will say, well, how does that make you feel? And they'll say, oh man, I wish I could work, but then these demons, you know. And then now they're on Social Security for mental reasons. And I've seen it happen. You can't tell me it doesn't happen because I've seen it. I know people who do this. I know young guys, young able-bodied guys who live off of benefits and they play video games all day. People have talked about that, and the left's like, oh, they're blowing this out of proportion. No, it's not. There are a lot of young able-bodied dudes who are living off the system, and they sit in their free apartment with their free food. Free. You know what we mean when we say free. It means we pay for it. Their free housing, their free food, their free medical, their check coming in every week. Dude, they'll even go to the church and have the church show up at their front door with boxes of food and clothes. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're hanging out playing World of Warcraft all day and not even streaming. Like, that's how low the work ethic is. That at least if you're going to be playing video games all day, every day, and you don't have anything else to do, at least start a stream up or something, you know, at least make some money off of your hobby. But they don't, but then they worry, well, now if I start making money streaming, then I got to claim it and I'm going to lose my benefits. But there's probably ways around that. I've had some involuntary health problems because I overworked and went to the ER. Overworking is a thing. Yeah, if you're a beta. I'm kidding. Sure, overworking's a thing. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, lawmakers have also made a costly mistake on the treatment of non-corporate businesses. In 2017, lawmakers introduced a 20% deduction for business income tax that is taxed on the individual rate schedule and not on the corporate tax rate of 21%. Taxes on dividends and capital gains are a second layer of tax on corporate income. The non-corporate business, also known as pass-throughs, face a few changes in this legislation, but the main change is that the deduction is made permanent at 20% in the Senate version and increased to 23% by the House. The House version would cost more than $700 billion over the next decade, while the Senate version costs just $655 billion Under our estimates, increasing the pass-through deduction would further decrease the effective tax rates on pass-through income relative to corporate. I don't know what any of this stuff means, guys. I'm just being honest with you. Just being honest with you. I don't know what any of this means. This is way above my pay grade. I just hear no tax on overtime. I'm like, let's go. I just hear you can't keep your food stamps if you're an able-bodied young man and you are able to, you can work. Get a job. Stuff like that. The bill further complicated the tax code in several ways, sending taxpayers through a maze of new rules and compliance costs. See, that's not good. In many cases likely outweigh potential tax benefits. No tax on tips, overtime, and car loans comes with various conditions and guardrails that, if enacted, will likely require hundreds of pages of IRS guidance to interpret. Well, hopefully H&R Block will figure all that out. I think they write it that way on purpose so most people won't understand it. Yeah. Yeah, you need some degree of like education. I'm sure you could self-teach yourself this stuff. It's just not my wheelhouse. It's not what I'm interested in. The deep economic tax law. It's not my cup of tea. The big picture, the one big beautiful bill provides certainty for U.S. households by permanently extending the TCJA individual rates. And I think Democrats liked the TCJA too, because didn't Biden keep all of those Trump's tax laws enacted? He didn't get rid of them. He got rid of a lot of stuff on his first day, but he didn't get rid of that. So I think everybody, even though they'll talk crap about it, they'll talk crap about Trump, they just got to find some way to drag his name through the mud. They like it. They like it. It's a good deal. However, it focuses too heavily on political carve-outs like no tax on tips and overtime exemptions and misses a critical opportunity to address the deficit and simplify the code. I've said before, I don't care about the deficit. Keep borrowing from China and never pay them back. Don't trust China. China's asshole. Bling, 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 bling. What's NPR saying? The simple math of the big bill. You better keep it simple, NPR. I trust you to make things simple for me. When we think about the economic effects of President Donald Trump's big taxing and spending and domestic policy bill, we can roughly sum it up in one line. It goes something like this. We will make big tax cuts permanent and pay for those tax cuts by cutting Medicaid and a few other things, and also by borrowing money. God, NPR is so disingenuous. It's such BS. Basically, they're like, we'll sum it up for you dumb people. Trump bad. Bill not good. Trump bad. And then the Democrats are like, yep. That's what we said. Yep. A lot of money. Even more than we've already been borrowing over the past 20 years, and that was already a lot too. Guess what? I don't care. Simple arithmetic with profound ramifications. Tax cuts, spending cuts, and whether they balance out. Spoiler, no. Of course, this is a very biased article. I like pulling up stuff that is biased against my side and against Trump. We look under the hood to see how it's all calculated. We ask, how will a bigger deficit play out for us in our normal, regular lives? We've covered a bunch more having to do with big taxing and spending. Planet Money in our short daily show. I'm not going to watch this other episode. Basically, this article says absolutely nothing. They just want you to listen to the article. 10 bizarre things hidden in Trump's big, beautiful bill. And this is what I was talking about. So this is going to be 10 things in this big old bill, big, beautiful bill, 10 things they found that they could be like, oh, well, this doesn't look good. For example, in the Inflation Reduction Act, one thing that conservatives were focused on is that, but this is not a small thing. Pot shops, money for pot shops was mentioned like 4,000 times. It was one of the most mentioned things in the bill. It was always like slipped in the middle of something that had nothing to do with pot shops. I don't know how more medical marijuana shops is infrastructure. I guess, yeah, you're building buildings. So I guess it's infrastructure, but it's more like destructure. Destruction. Well, everyone, it's official. Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill Act passed by the House last Thursday afternoon, signed into law on the 4th of July. You'll likely be able to celebrate with a local hospital closure. Oh, my God. Dude, they're taking our Medicaid. We shouldn't have ever started that socialist bullcrap to begin with, and then the hospital and their medical bills wouldn't be so expensive if we didn't set up this big insurance scam and this big Medicaid and medical insurance crap. Insurance is a scam. How you going to insure me for a future that is we don't even know, it doesn't even exist. You're insuring me in case something bad happens. I'm giving you money in case something bad happens. Why don't I just save my money? And when something bad happens, we pay for it. Or if we don't got money, we don't. Sucks. And they say, well, the reason you don't save your money and pay for it when it happens is because it's going to be very expensive when it happens. That's because of the insurance scam. I know some socialists will be like, well, then wouldn't you rather have like a single payer system or socialized healthcare? No. I'm in the minority that thinks the pot should remain a shameful habit. I believe that too. I don't think you're in the minority here. Just do it in your own house, on your own property, and don't sell it and don't transport it. Which is the same thing Jack Harris said. And he was a big pot advocate. Incentivizing SNAP fraud. As the Prospect has reported, one of the ways Republicans cut the Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program, nutrition. You think they're not buying anything nutritional with their food stamps. They're buying Little Debbie cakes and Mountain Dew. Okay? Like, what do you think they're buying? You're going to Whole Foods and getting fresh vegetables and beef and steaks? No. They're buying Nestle Toll House. They're buying cookies and chips and soda. That's it. And some barbecue. With insurance, $10. Without insurance, $116. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a problem. So they incentivize you to get insurance by doing that. So that's like, it makes it the only game in town. So you kind of like have to get insurance. It shouldn't be like that. If there wasn't this move towards a social safety net, then and it was more competitive, it was more free market capital in big medical, then the prices would have to become more competitive and you could shop around and you could find the best price. But it's the triangle ordeal of speed, quality, cost. You can't have all three. You can't have good speed, and maybe you could, but nobody does. Nobody's successfully done it. You either get speed and quality and it's really expensive, like in America, or you get quality and it's cheap, but it takes forever in Canada, or it's fast and it's cheap, but the quality sucks, like in the UK. McDonald's accepts food stamps. See, that should be a crime. That should be illegal. Get them out. Send them to Alligator Alley. Can't be using your food stamps for a Big Mac and a McFlurry. That's crazy. I know. I've heard it. We've talked about that before. That's wild, though. McDonald's accepts food stamps. Dude, I think there should be... I think McDonald's should be regulated like like people have to have like a punch card, and they can only, or a fat tax, or people have to have like a punch card where you're only allowed like 4 Big Macs per month. Like, we got an obesity epidemic, and we're giving people food stamp McDonald's. That's not good. The mass shooter subsidy. Oh, this article is some bullshit. One of the vanishingly few American gun regulations that still exists is tax on silencers. Oh, the libertarians are going to love this. No tax on silencers. Let's go. Which has existed for almost 100 years and sits at $200 or did until now. Republicans wouldn't stand for this intolerable. How many mass shooters use silencers? I bet you there's a stat on this. I bet you that's like 3. I very rarely, usually it's a big, scary assault style weapon. I don't often hear about, it's not like Splinter Cell. It's not like Tom Clancy, like Rainbow Six, like Splinter Cell, like they're sneaking through the tunnels like doof, 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 doof. No, that's, I rarely hear of silencers used in mass shootings, but okay. Intolerable burden, America's large population of hardworking mass shooters. This is so biased. What is this website? Prospect.org/politics. Prospect.org. This is a .org. Wonder who's funding this org. Bump fire, Senate Parliament, still killing the silencer tax is egregious. See, they found one thing. We're taking tax off silencers. Oh my God. America just wants to give a tax cut to mass shooters. This is so stupid. The suppressor would have been supplied by the feds to some psycho. Yeah, if somebody had a silencer when they're doing a mass shooting, the feds were definitely watching them. They happened to find a silencer on their front porch one day. Wow. That's so stupid. Mass shooter subsidy. Wow. The spaceport sweetener. For some reason, section of Trump's bill will allow municipalities to issue tax-exempt bonds to build spaceports. You know what the reason is? The reason is the impending space war that I've been talking about for 3 years. The impending laser satellite space war that's coming. Call me crazy. Space deniers, flat earthers, they're not going to be ready when the lasers start lighting cities on fire. Oh, wait, that's already happened. I literally posted on Facebook, wait till lasers start setting cities on fire. And don't say I didn't tell you so. And a week later, Hawaii was burning. That's a true story. We showed it on the show. I just was randomly making a post on Facebook one day. And I said, wait till they start lighting cities on fire with lasers. And a week later, Hawaii happened. And they are, with LA and people forget, man. They don't know what I mean when I say that. I'm not saying they have like these lasers. Well, they do have lasers with nukes on them and satellites with lasers and satellites with nukes, offensive and defensive measures on the satellites. So these satellites could just attack a city. That's not what's happening. What's happening is they're making a solar panel array that eventually the plan is that it's the size of Texas, an array of solar panels floating around in space the size of Texas that gathers energy from the sun that they can beam down to power plants for energy. So it's solar energy, but they're collecting the solar energy from space because it's stronger. It's stronger. It's not diffused by the ozone layer. So they build the solar panels in space and they beam down the energy to these plants. But what happened was they overloaded the power plants and generators started exploding everywhere. I think it was lasers from high altitude planes. They're high altitude satellites. They probably got some planes with lasers on them too, though. But no, he's focused on space because there's going to be a space war. Why do you think they did Space Force? And Elon's so focused on SpaceX. It's not just to try to get to Mars. That's like a hobby of Elon's. He just wants to go to Mars. He's an alien. But it's really about defenses. If China owns all of the space and they have satellites floating around America, that's a problem. There's going to be a space war. What's not a real technology? Lasers? Satellite, solar energy collection from space? Yeah, that's definitely a real thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about, though, but handouts for Chinese steel companies. Oh, so you complain when we tariff them, and then you complain when we do things to get some steel from them. How's this? What's up with this? Not only this is so biased, though. I'm not going to get any real information from this. Trump's bill not only gets rid of almost all of President Biden's climate program. Let's go. Fuck the climate. It also provides vast subsidies to coal producers. At least 4 million acres of federal land will be opened up to coal leasing, and the royalty rate will be cut from 12.5% to 8%, incentivizing coal, the worst fossil fuel for the climate. And also particulate pollution. In any way is bad. Incentivizing coal in any way is bad. But Republicans are also literally subsidizing foreign steel companies in places like China, India, and Brazil. Well, we got to do something to stop BRICS. We got to sweeten up the deal, and we got to work with them by making metallurgical coal eligible for critical mineral subsidies through 2030. This coal, which is used in blast furnaces to create steel, is mostly exported to poor countries with fewer air pollution regulations. Sure enough, the coal doesn't even have to be used domestically to get the subsidy. The Garden of Heroes. Countries broke camp. Basic health care for food assistance. Yet in the same bill, the largest cuts to Medicaid and SNAP in American history, there's $40 million appropriated to the National Endowment for Humanity's requisition statues for a Garden of Heroes in Washington, D.C., something that Kim Jong-un would even be embarrassed to unveil. I think he's going to put all the statues that they were ripping down in a garden in the White House. What's funny is when Trump had just been elected, I had a Democrat lady from my Facebook privately message me. And I hate when they do this. Like, I do a news show. I talk about politics. I talk about the news, current events on my news show. If you got something to say, come in my chat and say it. Come on a panel and talk to me about it. Or post it on my page publicly. Don't privately message me and say, do you really actually support this guy? And then send me a link to him potentially getting rid of the White House Rose Garden. And I'm like, we got kids being aborted in the millions. We got boys chopping their wee-wees off and punching girls in the face in boxing rings. We got a wide open border. We've got inflation at rates we've never seen before. People are starving. We've got a fentanyl crisis. And you're coming to me talking about a rose garden? I don't care. And then they do the same thing here. Oh, they're taking the SNAP and the food, but he's going to make a Garden of Heroes. Whatever, dude. Don't tell me about anything about art installments and parks and nature trails. That is a Democrat woman's favorite thing. Look at Erin Mendenhall. Look at Jane Castor. Look at Gretchen Whitmer. Look at any of these women Democrat cities. Their main priority, their main focus is parks, trails, and freaking art installments. That's all they do. They'll clean up the parks. You'll get a new park every week. They'll do road construction for 6 years here in Salt Lake City to add bike paths to the street. They add a whole separate sidewalk with like, it's like a road in itself out here in Salt Lake City. We got this sidewalk that goes all around, but it's like an extra wide sidewalk, and it's got a line in the middle, and it's got little bikes painted on it. One going this way, one going this way. Because bike people might not know how traffic works. We have a bike road all through the city. Bike paths, nature trails, hiking trails, parks, and some gay-ass ugly art installments. We got a rainbow whale in the middle of an intersection, a roundabout. They got a giant rainbow whale tail sticking up. And that's like a huge accomplishment of our mayor. Oh, there's another big art installment going up in the middle of the city. It's going to be a large black woman standing there. Thanks, New York. So don't lecture me about spending money on parks and art installments and statues, because Democrats love that shit. They do it all the time, especially the women. It's like all they do. Tax on gambling winnings. Okay, we got to move a little quicker through this. Trump and Musk. So the big beautiful bill, and mainly the big beautiful bill, I think, was the kind of the main divider that drove the wedge in Elon and Trump. I still do think his time was coming to an end, and he was planning on leaving anyway. And to kind of recover Elon's image in the public, in the eye of the public, and to stop Tesla's stocks from going down and things like this, that this was kind of a planned beef that they were going to have as they separated. But that's what I thought at first. Now that I see Elon's planning on starting his own party, I'm not so sure about that. Trump took a little jab, kind of threatened, didn't really threaten to deport him, but they asked, could you deport Elon Musk? And Trump's like, oh, well, I don't know. We might have to look into that. Like a boss, just like drops a little line. Well, maybe we might deport him. But yeah, the feud is back. The feud is back on. Threats of Doge deportation. Donald Trump and Elon Musk feud reignited this week, with the former political allies trading sharp public threats of retribution. The blow-up, centered around Musk's opposition to Trump's signature tax bill as it moves through Congress, ends a period of rapprochement between two of the world's most powerful men. Musk posted escalating attacks against Trump's sweeping spending bill on his social media platform X, calling the legislation insane, and vowing to form a new political party if it passes late Monday. In response, Trump claimed he could look into deporting the South African-born billionaire, while also suggesting he could cut government subsidies for Musk companies or set the so-called Department of Government Efficiency on its former leader. He's like, we might have to set Doge on them. Have you heard of Doge? Do you know about Doge? We might have to put Doge on him. Dude, he's such a legend. Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? Trump asked reporters on Tuesday. Musk's attempt to derail the tax bill was a major factor in his falling out with the president last month. Tesla CEO's renewed offensive, this is The Guardian, by the way, comes at a sensitive time as Trump seeks to shepherd the legislation through Congress. The fight could test Musk's political influence over the Republican Party as he seeks to peel away votes for the bill, as well as further deteriorate his once close relationship with Trump. Musk has repeatedly criticized the legislation Trump calls his big, beautiful bill for its potential to nullify the cuts to the federal government he made through Doge, and for the likelihood it will add trillions to the national debt, which he has warned will bankrupt America and imperil his dream of reaching Mars. So this is personal for Elon. He's like, we got to save America. How else will I get to Mars? Ain't no party like an Elon party. LA Times. Most of these people are dogging on the bills. I tried to find some article with positive support for the bill. That first one that I read, it seemed pretty fair. It's just hard to find positive news about the bill. The lamestream media. The lamestream media is beta. What do we got from LA Times? Trump's big, beautiful bill has been signed to a law. What does that mean? Fighter jets whoosh by and stealth bomber, blah, 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 display. President Trump signed into law his nearly 900-page big, beautiful bill. Dude, that's not even that crazy of a size of a bill. Spending cuts affecting millions of Medicaid recipients while growing the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency by thousands of workers. Well, I'd rather grow ICE than grow IRS. Just saying. The Senate passed the bill earlier in the week, while the Republican-controlled House voted 218 to 214 in favor of it on Thursday evening. J.D. Vance had to step in and cast that final vote. Why didn't he do that earlier in the night? They were there all night. He comes in the morning. He's like, you guys tired yet? Let's vote. I got the decider vote. Why didn't he just do that the night before? He wanted them to stay up all night. Now the bill is in effect. It's a good time to review what actually inside it. Tax cuts take center stage. BBB contains roughly 4.5 trillion with a T in tax cuts, according to the association. They're going to start having to pay for their food. OBS studio reconnection successful. What happened? Did the stream just go down? Hold on. No, it was me. I don't know what just happened. It should be fixed now. Is it fixed now? It should be good. For some reason, OBS just disconnected for a second. So they're saying it's going to cost the poorest people an extra $1,600 a year because they're going to have to start paying for their own food if they lose their food stamps. How is that? I don't have food stamps or Medicaid or Medicare. No health insurance. Haven't had it since I left my parents' house. I was on food stamps for a little while when I was married because my wife convinced me that we should get on them. And so we did. But then, at the time, I didn't have a job. But then I got a job, and we both got jobs. And after like 3 months of working, they sent us a thing. They said, you got to get reevaluated. So we did, and they cut both of our food stamps in half. And then eventually they said no more food stamps. And if that's the way that it's going to be, is if you're struggling, you're in a rough time, you get them, if the money's going there, I guess some people might as well use it. But once you start working, and you should only be able to be on them for a limited time, and you need to start working, once you start working, they slowly stop giving you the food stamps. That's how it should be. That's how it's going to be now. Never listen to the Womans. Yep. The analysis of the House version of the bill is according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. While temporarily adding new tax deductions on tips, overtime, and auto loans, the bill will also add $6,000 deduction for older adults making less than $75,000 a year. The child tax credit is bumped from $2,000 to $2,200. Though millions of lower income families will still be unable to get the full credit. Well, poor people shouldn't be having sex. Caps for state and local tax deductions known as SALT will quadruple to $40,000 for 5 years, offering some benefits to residents of higher tax states like California. Businesses will get a break because they will immediately be able to write off 100% of the cost of equipment and research. Some experts say will boost economic growth. Deportations, a border wall, and missile defenses. Hey! That's what I like. I don't like our money going towards the military so that we can send them off to Fallujah to fight some bakalakas, I'd rather spend, if my tax money should be defending my country, some of my tax money should go to defenses because as men, we don't have time to defend the country. So we outsource it to our government and we pay people to do that for us. We pay people to fix the roads. We pay people through taxes to defend the country. So stronger border defenses, deporting illegals, and a missile dome around the U.S., I like it. I'm on the side of that. That's what I've always said. Our military money should, our taxes for defenses should be going towards defending our home, not attacking and bombing every freaking little country that we need to get oil from or whatever. Our military defense taxes should be spent on defending our home. So that sounds good to me. I'm with it. Clean energy gets pummeled. Let's go. Get the dirty energy in here. Because that's all BS anyway. We should be stewards to our planet, but guess what? It's not carbon emissions that are destroying our planet. How is this being paid for? Many adults receiving Medicaid and food stamps, including those ages 65, will now have to fulfill an $80 a month work requirement. That's 20 hours a week. Lazy ass, get on it. Go get a job. Medicaid patients will also have a new $35 copayment to contend with. 71 million Americans use Medicaid, and 40 million people benefit from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as food stamps. Yeah, and what percentage of those 40 million? 20 million of those 40 million sell their food stamps for dope money. That's my guess. Dude, everybody I knew sold their stamps for dope money. Of course, that's the crowd I hung out with, but so that's what I saw a lot of. But I know a lot of people be selling them stamps. Trump's big bill will make Americans uninsured again. I don't really care about the Rolling Stones. I thought we had moved on to the Trump and Musk beef. Because I was going to talk about Elon's new party. This is the bill. Guys, we don't have time to really go through this bill. But you can find the bill at congress.gov. It's quite long, as you see. That ain't 900 pages, though. Let's just pick modernization and improvement of international trade technology systems and data collection. Oh, he stopped right on the data collection one. See, I'm surprised they're not pointing more towards this. The data collection stuff, the AI stuff on reducing limitations to AI so that the government can get more involved with AI. Multiple crop and pesticide use survey. Hey, I'm good with that. Animal disease prevention and management. Sheep production and marketing grant program. We need more sheep. We got to get the wool. Anyway, maybe in another stream, we'll just sit here and kind of skim through this bill more. So I'll keep it saved. But yeah, Musk is starting his own party, the America Party. The America Party. Musk says he is forming a new political party after fallout with Trump. Billionaire Elon Musk said Saturday from CNN he is forming a third political party after a dramatic... He was talking about this a long time ago on X. He said, it's time America has a new party. So he was hinting at it. He was giving us a little foreshadowing. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in one-party system, not a democracy. Trump's former first buddy said on his social media platform X, Today the American Party is formed to give you back your freedom. Musk, the largest individual donor to Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, and until recently a close advisor to the president who spearheaded his administration's push to cut government waste, had criticized Trump's big, beautiful bill because of estimates that it would add trillions of dollars to the federal deficit. You got to spend money to make money, Elon. Where's Kat? She's a sheep farmer. Oh, yeah. Kat, you're going to get some grant money for your sheep farm. Sheep farm grant. Shout out Trump. Hooking up Kat with the dang sheep farm grant. Nice. I think it... is this Trump talking? Who's talking? Yeah. I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. Trump said ahead of boarding Air Force One in New Jersey on Sunday, the Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to the confusion. Third parties have never worked, so he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous. But it's going to take votes from Republicans. So it is a bad thing. It's no bueno. It's going to take Republican votes. It's not going to take liberal votes. It's not going to take Democrat votes unless It depends on who he gets. If he gets dang Bernie Sanders and AOC in there, I heard somebody threw out the name Mark Cuban potentially. Like, who are they going to run? I think they run Bernie because Bernie's been screwed over by the Democrat Party a couple times. Didn't Elon used to be a Bernie bro? So this actually could be a problem for us, boys. But if they get some base people in there, some people are saying, what's his name? The guy that's like anti-Israel lobby, and everybody keeps throwing his name out. Thomas Massey? Is that his name? Haven't really looked into him, but people like Myron Gaines support him. Candace Owens said on Stephen A. Smith's show, he said, who do you think should run? And Candace said, Thomas Massey. And I think all these people just like him because he's like anti AIPAC and anti-Israel lobbies. He doesn't want to keep giving money to Israel, so everybody just jumps on board with that. People are saying Elon could get him, but if he gets a good candidate up there and he's got the money to back him, it could be a problem. Could be a problem. Let's see this.
On the heels of President Trump signing his massive domestic policy bill into law, his former close ally, Elon Musk, announcing the formation of a new political party. Musk, the world's richest person, taking to his social media site X to say, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. Musk, who was President Trump's top campaign donor, has been feuding.
I hate this one-party, two-party system stuff. It's dumb. There's two big clubs that will get you elected, but the people within that club are not all of the same party. They're not all of the same political philosophy or political worldview. They have different ideas and different views. They're just, the party is just the club that helps you get elected, has the money to back it. But if it's a Republican versus a Democrat, oftentimes they're not even really Republicans or Democrats. You'll have a populist like Trump. You'll have nationalists. You'll have, you might get more Christian people like a Pence. You might get more libertarian people like what is it, Ron Paul or Rand Paul. You might get some of them, and they might run on the right, or they'll run as independents, but they'll lose if they run as independents. So they just align with the right more. So they run as a Republican, but there's a lot of these people are not what you would just call a Republican. You have conservatives, you have, you could be a monarchist and you would run on the Republican side, or a theocrat and you would run on the Republican side. A lot of libertarians would run as Republicans. And then on the left, you've got your socialists, you've got straight up commies and tankies and democratic socialists like the don't mess with the Zoltan. You could have a libertarian leftist. You have some dang anarchists running on the right or the left. They're not going to win, but that's just the party you align with to get elected. It really says nothing about your political philosophy. Just because you're running as a Republican or a Democrat doesn't tell us anything about where you stand politically. So I don't even like the whole two wings of the same bird stuff. No, look at the individual who's running and look at what they believe in, their worldview. What's the foundation of their worldview? Where are they getting these ideas for how we ought to organize civilizations and societies and groups of people? Where's their foundation? Are they a Christian? Are they a Muslim? Are they an atheist? That's going to tell me a lot about where they stand politically. Or it ought to.
With the president over the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, which the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says will add more than $3 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. Musk has referred to the legislation as a debt slavery bill and had been teasing a new political party for days. It's unclear if Musk has officially filed paperwork for the new party. The Tesla CEO did not respond to questions from NBC News seeking clarity about yesterday's announcement.
The stock market's at an all-time high.
For his part, President Trump has been celebrating the bill. The legislation extends the tax cuts from his first term, reduces taxes on tips and overtime pay, and provides funds for his immigration priorities.
Okay. Enough on the tax and the bills and all that stuff and Elon's party. Let's look at Alligator Alcatraz. Alligator Alcatraz, guys. We're going to do a quick transition here. And we're going to go to our on-the-ground correspondent, who is me. This is a pre-recorded tape from me when I was on the ground at Alligator Alcatraz. I went down and visited, guys. Let's see what reporting I can do from Alligator Alcatraz. Ready? Guys, I'm out here at Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades in Florida. Reporting now. Oh, look, there's a Mexican. We're here in Alligator Alcatraz. As you can see, it's air conditioned. I'm not sweating. What's up? What up, Trump? Hey. I'm looking the wrong way. Shout out, Trump. Trump's over there. Trump's over there behind me. You know, he's listening to my reporting. As you can see, you know, it's a nice air-conditioned tent. Bunk beds with mattresses. Look at these mattresses. I've never seen mattresses this big in any jail I've ever visited. Pillows? They got pillows? You don't get pillows in prison. You don't get pillows in jail unless you buy it on the commissary. And a lot of them in county jails, no county jail I've ever been in did you get a pillow. They get pillows. These guys get pillows. Compared to the Mexican jails that I visited, they don't even have air conditioning. These guys are living it up. But as we know, the white liberal ladies, they see a chain link fence and they just think, oh my God, a fence. They have fences in there. It's just a cheap way to divide the people up into smaller groups. You take those fences out and just let them roam around the tent freely. The MS-13 are going to be scrapping with the Tren de Aragua, the TDA, and the MS-13 are going to be stabbing each other up with freaking toothbrushes all day. And the families that go in there, wouldn't you want the family to be isolated from all these other gang members? So you get a little pin. It's not that bad. I'm out here now, guys. We went around and we looked outside. A lot of alligators. Nobody's going to want to escape from this place. I tried to run out, and there was a giant gator right there in front of me trying to rip me apart. So that's all we have here from Alligator Alcatraz today. Back to you in the studio, Josh. All right. Thank you. Oh, wait. Hold on. There we go. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Josh, from Alligator Alcatraz. Did you talk to Trump? I did talk to Trump, Josh. He was very nice. He shook my hand. He signed my hat. He gave me a marker. Okay. Trump's Alligator Alcatraz reveals the ongoing cruelty towards migrants in the U.S. What do you want us to do? Do you want due process or do you want us to deport them? What do you want us to do? Oh, you know what they want us to do? They want us to just give them amnesty. Let them stay. Now people are pressuring Trump for amnesty. Yeah, that worked great when, who was his name? Was it Reagan or Nixon? I think it was Reagan that did the amnesty. That was a problem. Amnesty is what the Democrats want. They want us to just let them in and let them stay. Pack the voter rolls. It's a mess. President supporters are gleeful, but Everglades jail could prove to be humanitarian and environmentally tragic. After the cruelty and mockery as the first detainees were being hauled into Donald Trump's controversial migrant jail in the inhospitable, steamy wetlands of Florida. Guys, I'm from Florida. People live in the Everglades. People live in the Everglades. People live all around in Florida. It is not inhospitable. It's hot. It's sticky and humid, but it's you can live there. Just so you know, you can make it. You'd be all right. It's actually not that bad. It's just hot sometimes. Surrounded by swamps and pythons, it's a one. They got pythons coming after the Mexicans. 86 Reagan amnesty. Yeah, that was a mess. Surrounded by swamps and pythons, it's a one-way ticket to regret. Well, good. You should regret breaking the law, asshole. The Florida Republican Party's official X account crowed Hawkins its new range of Alligator Alcatraz themed t-shirts and hats. Let's go. Grab your merch to support the tough on crime borders. Limited supply. Get yours before the Gators do. That's what this Democrat lady was crying about on Facebook that I was having a little back and forth with. If you would wear a t-shirt that supports lack of mercy for the stranger, you're not a Christian. Shut up. You know, everybody wants to talk about where it says, I think it's Deuteronomy where it says, or maybe Leviticus where it talks about love the stranger because you were strangers in Egypt once. Yeah. Well, keep reading. It goes on to explain that the strangers who come and visit your town, that they need to assimilate to your cultures and your traditions and participate in your traditions, and do not participate in their culture and their traditions, or you get stoned to death. If you come into our country and you don't participate, you don't do it legally, you need to do it legally. That's part of participating in our culture and our system, is doing it legally and then paying taxes, becoming a good citizen, learning to speak English, speaking it in your home with your kids. I can't stand when I know somebody's been in America for 48 years and they still don't speak English, and they got kids and they don't speak English with their kids, so their kids don't speak English. Get out. If you don't assimilate, you would get stoned to death in Israel. So I don't know if Democrats want to keep bringing up that Bible verse, but they're a bunch of damn atheists, and they're just bringing it up as like a gotcha, but they don't know what they're talking about. The blatant and brutish grift on the back of the plight of Americans, the plight of America's undocumented. The plight of America's undocumented. I care more about the plight of America's documented that is caused by America's undocumented, also known as illegals. They're illegal. Now you're going to get cold. North Dakota? Oh, man. Why would you want to go to North Dakota? What is wrong with you? I'm moving in less than a month to North Dakota. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. North Dakota, you could like pee and you're going to have like a solid lightsaber frozen to your dang Johnson. It proves that cruelty was always the point. Maxwell Frost, a Democratic Florida Republican, told The Guardian after the president and governor visited the swamp on Tuesday to boast about how often the camp will be for those held there. You know, we're going to stay in Alligator Alcatraz mode. Guys, I'm out here. And I can be honest with you. It's not that bad. I'm out at Alligator Alcatraz. It's not that bad, guys. The hats, the facility, the press conferences, the media interview, this is all one fun, cruel, disgusting game to them. They treat people like animals. Shut up. It's not that bad. They got pillows. They have pillows and mattresses. I've been to jails in America for documented people where it's just a concrete slab. It's just a concrete room with a concrete slab, a toilet, and a sink. You don't get a mattress. You don't get pillows. These people are lucky. Like, that looks nice. That looks plushy. So dumb. And it's air conditioned. It's so hot out here in the Everglades. They're not in the swamp, dumbass. They're in the tent, which is air conditioned. Go to Tent City in Arizona and complain about air conditioning. That's an American prison for Americans. A lot of immigrants in that prison too. It's a border state, but at least I guess they're documented, or they're just waiting to get deported. Oil money, baby. All right. Fact-checking Trump's remarks at Alligator Alcatraz on immigration and Medicaid. Trump campaign on several promises. I know it's Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and it's not a place I want to go hiking. But very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. Because by looking at it, as you can see behind me, not that tough to escape from this place. I was actually in jail in Florida, and our trustee pod was one of these tents, just like this. And two of the trustees escaped because they were kitchen trustees. They brought they cut the can off a big can of like beans or something, and they folded up the can lid and they brought it back, and they cut the tent and they squeezed out through the tent. They brought trash bags that they put over themselves, and whenever the spotlight would come around, they would lay on the ground in trash bags. And two guys escaped from one of these tents. The chain link fence, the tent action, probably not very hard to escape from that place. So what they do is they put it in the middle of a swamp surrounded by alligators. And it's like, you want to try to escape? Have at it. Tear it up. The Badlands. That's why they put it in places like that. Let's watch this.
Alligator Alcatraz Migrant Detention Center in the Florida Everglades on Tuesday, as its Republican allies in Congress advanced a sweeping spending bill that could ramp up deportations. The facility sits some 37 miles from Miami, in a vast subtropical wetland teeming with alligators, crocodiles, and pythons.
I don't think that's true. I don't think there's any crocodiles in Florida. Maybe like some escaped from a zoo or something, but I lived in Florida my whole life, and we always knew there's no crocodiles in Florida. But somebody Google it or ask AI, are there crocodiles in the Everglades? If there are, that means that they're like zoo escapes. Crocodiles are not supposed to be native to America. At least when I did my reptile project as a kid, we knew that. Nowadays, maybe stuff's different. I don't know.
Looked outside, and that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon.
Trump highlighted the threatening conditions surrounding the facility at a roundtable following his tour.
Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation.
Officials estimate the cost of the complex to be $450 million annually and could house some 5,000 people.
Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey!
So we were saying ICE doesn't have nearly enough beds for all these migrants to house them while we're processing them and deporting them. And Democrats are like, we want due process. We want due process. You can't just deport them. They need due process. So we build a facility to house them, to provide ICE with the extra beds that they need so that we can house them and give them due process. Then they bitch about that. Nothing he does will make these people happy.
Some local leaders have objected to the facility's construction, noting the area's sensitive environment, and protesters gathered during Trump's tour of the facility.
I live 4 miles away from where Alligator Alcatraz is.
Oh, shit. 4 miles? I mean, I can get through 4 miles of swamp. We're in Alligator Alcatraz today. We're going to try to escape and see if we can hike 4 miles through the swamp and survive. I think I could do it. I think it'd be all right. I could get through 4 miles of swamp. Find this lady's house.
Is happening. I think it's...
Wait, if you're 4 miles away from Alligator Alcatraz and no person is illegal and you don't want these people to be locked up or to be deported. You're fine with them being in our country. What's the problem with living 4 miles away from Alligator Alcatraz? Hopefully, God willing, some of them escape and end up in your backyard, and then you can give them a place to stay. The murderers and rapists, you can let them stay in your living room and house them and hide them. I'm sure it'll work out great for you, Shauna.
Important for me to be here because I want my voice to be heard. I want my kids to look up to me when they get older and be like, my mom fought for my land.
Florida Governor Ron
Your land?
DeSantis has said he will send 100 National Guard troops there, and that people could start arriving to the facility as soon as Wednesday.
No crocs in the Everglades.
Whether you're a
There's no crocodiles in the Everglades. I don't know what the hell that guy was talking about. All right, guys. Florida Democrats denied entry to Alligator Alcatraz after Trump visit. A group of 5 Democrat state lawmakers in Florida said they were denied entry to Alligator Alcatraz, a new migrant detention facility. This from The Hill on Thursday due to safety reasons, days after Trump toured the facility. Because they want to go in and they want to get their shots of like their AOC shot of AOC against the chain link fence. No, they're putting people in cages. Oh my God. You mean Obama's cages? These cages are nicer than Obama's cages. Nobody was crying about that. That's wild. All right. Enough on that. Let's get out of the Alligator Alcatraz scene. I'm having fun with the effects. Let's move on. Last story. We need to get through this kind of quick. Rapid floods in Texas, which this happened last week with where was it last week? South Carolina, maybe? These rapid floods keep hitting, and this is crazy. There was a summer camp for girls. 27 of the campers and counselors were killed in the floods. The death toll totally, it's now up to more than 100. When I first grabbed this story, it was at like 79. Then I saw it was at 82. Death toll is now confirmed at more than 100. Dead in Texas floods as drier weather is expected this week. Oh, thanks. That doesn't do anything to help the dead people. Death toll increases. More than 100 people have died. Camp Mystic, an all-girls summer camp that sits along the Guadalupe River. That river rose 20 feet in under 30 minutes. That's crazy. That's wild. Like this, and we talked about it last week. It's like, it seems crazy to die in a flood if you know how to swim. But there's a lot of things you don't think about. Like the water is rushing fast and there's trees and rocks and debris and you get pulled out of your house and there's cars floating down. You get crushed by something. You get pulled under and you're sucked under and you're dragged under the undertow and you're getting hit by debris and stuff. So floods are one of the most dangerous natural disasters. And we've been seeing it lately, and it's wild to me. Like you'd think the water is just rising, and it like, okay, time to like walk away from where the water's rising. Like it seems like even if it rises 20 feet in 30 minutes, that's like less than a foot a minute. I feel like I could outwalk that. You know, like you just walk away from the rising water. But I've never been in this situation, so I don't know. But it's just hard to comprehend. 20 feet is nuts. It's really nothing you can do. Just walk the other direction. Like it's a foot a minute. So here's the river. I'm standing by the river. Every minute the water is coming up a foot. I can walk 10 feet. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of mind-boggling to me. More than 20 state agencies are responding to the flood across Texas. Governor Greg Abbott said today as rescuers continue to search for dozens of missing people. The lingering storms in central Texas are expected to wind down by tonight, and it looks like it will be much drier Tuesday than the past several days. You mean during the flood? Yeah, it's going to be drier than it was during the flood. Thanks, CNN. Showers and thunderstorms could dot the region later tomorrow afternoon, but those storms aren't likely to prevent much of a flood threat. FEMA explains why some people might not have received an emergency report alert. Well, probably because FEMA is garbage. Emergency alerts were delivered to devices in flood-stricken area. Data shows, but some of them didn't get the alerts, I guess. Counselors at Texas camp hoisted boys into cabin rafters as floodwater rose. See, and that's the problem. If you're in a cabin and it's closed off and the water's rising, you don't climb into the rafters, because then when the water gets higher and you're in the rafters, now you can't get out. And then you get trapped in there and you drown. Like, as soon as the water starts coming into the cabin, get out of the cabin and go in the other direction of the water. Seems simple to me. I don't get it. But I mean, again, I've never been in this situation. I just don't see why you wouldn't just run in the opposite direction of the rising water. A raging river at 2 feet can take you. If I stand in the same place, yeah. That's my argument. I'm saying just run in the other direction of the rising water. As soon as the water's up to your ankles, run out of the water. Run the other way. You don't just stand there until you're underwater. Let's see this video. Yeah, stress is probably, people freak out. They lose composure. They don't know what to do. They figure to stay in place. A lot of people will just sit in their cars until their car gets washed down a river and starts getting flipped over and filled with water. Yeah, they get afraid. They don't know what to do.
Hundreds saved as desperate search and rescue efforts continue in central Texas. We want to show you this time-lapse video captured
This
Friday.
is crazy,
It
this
shows
time-lapse.
just how quickly those floodwaters rose
See
in
that?
Kingsland, Texas.
You see this, people? Hold on, let me go full screen. Look at the time lapse. Watch these people that are gathered right here. Okay, these people are standing here. The water's here. And watch the time lapse as the river rises, what the people do.
Those floodwaters rose in
They walk the opposite direction. Like, I don't.
Kingsland, Texas. Water rushes in and rises within 30.
They're just taking a few steps back. Take a few steps back. Take a few steps back.
Minutes. And another nearby river rose more than 20 feet in less than 2 hours. Authorities tell us more than 850.
Oh, it's 20 feet in 2 hours, which means 20 feet in 2 hours. That's 10 feet an hour. That's what is that? Six inches. No, 10 divided by 60. It's like 0.6 inches a minute.
People have now been brought to safety, but the death toll does continue to rise. It's now at least 78, and many of those killed or missing are young girls from a private Christian camp.
At present, there are 11 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for, along with one counselor.
I got to see firsthand many of the
Oh, you guys aren't
body
seeing. You guys aren't even seeing the full screen. Hold on, I'll just show you that one more time because you couldn't see it. This is what I wanted to show
How
you.
quickly those floodwaters
See the people?
rose in
Just walk
Kingsland,
away?
Texas. Water
Walk
rushes
away?
in and rises within 30 minutes. And another nearby river rose more than 20 feet.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't in full screen. Okay, let's get out of this. Go back to here.
body bags. And it breaks my heart. And we didn't know. We know we get rains. We know the river rises. But nobody saw this coming.
President Trump has signed a major disaster.
Also, if you were like asleep in your house or something and you didn't realize until it was too late, that could be another reason you'd be screwed.
Declaration, deploying some more federal resources to that state. The Secretary of Homeland Security says they have deployed the Coast Guard for round-the-clock search and rescue.
Some internet.
So, camp director. So this is about the Camp Mystic thing. Pretty sad. A camp. I thought it was an all-girls camp, but I guess it's not an all-girls camp. Camp director and co-owner of Camp Mystic in Hunt, Texas, died in the catastrophic flooding as he reportedly raced to save the lives of his young campers. Dick Eastland, who purchased the camp in 1974, died after the wall of water crashed through the Christian summer camp, which is located along the banks of the Guadalupe River. The report cited a Facebook post from Eastland's nephew, though the post has since been taken down. Counselors, former campers, and politicians who knew Eastland praised him for his heroic actions. Camp Mystic Dick Eastland no doubt gave his life attempting to save his campers, poured into loving and developing girls and women of character. So is it a girls' camp or because there were boys there? Pfluger said 2 of his daughters were at the camp when it was evacuated during the flooding. They have since been reunited. So look at this. That's wild. Dude, I always wanted to go to a summer camp like this. Not like this, but you know what I'm saying. One of these Camp Anawana summer camps, but never did. Dang. Oh, it ripped this whole wall off. And then they got up into the rafters. But once you're in the rafters, you're stuck in there. There's a window, but water's going to be rushing in through the window. Now you're stuck up in the rafters. That's crazy. Anyway. Reported miracle rescue of 2 girls clinging to a tree in Texas floods was a false account. Let's watch one more video and then we'll do some memes.
Texas, where search teams are looking for victims around the clock.
New drone video shows neighborhoods completely submerged in floodwaters.
This with another round of dangerous weather in the forecast there.
At least 82 people have died, with many more still missing. 41 people are confirmed to be unaccounted.
See, like you stay in your car, you're done.
For across the state, among them 10 girls from a summer camp. Earlier today, President Trump signed a major disaster declaration for Kerr County, activating FEMA. Meanwhile, as Eyewitness News reporter Elena Gomez explains, a Los Angeles...
Oh, that's a baby. They always got a shot of like a dog being rescued.
Angeles-based humanitarian group is on the way.
I don't know if that was a dog or a baby.
Team Rubicon, a humanitarian organization headquartered in LA, is preparing to send 3 recon teams of Texas volunteers on the ground tomorrow to...
Where's Mayhem? I wonder if Mayhem's going down there. Because he does like search and rescue stuff. Wonder if he's going out to... Dude, I would like to do disaster relief. Like travel all over the country and do disaster relief. I think that would be fun. And you'd feel like you were doing something good and like helping save people. I think that would be really, really fun. Mayhem, hire me. I want to do disaster relief and help find lost people. How do I get a job? I got some survival skills.
To assist in some of the hardest hit areas. All of this as we're starting to get new visuals of the significant damage from the Texas flooding.
Tonight, new dramatic time-lapse video shows floodwaters taking over a road in a matter of minutes in Kingsland, Texas.
But they all just walked away from it. And then they get in their car and drive away.
On the 4th of July. On the holiday, waters rose by 26 feet in the Guadalupe River in less than an hour, creating major...
Okay, we're getting different reports. First, we heard 20 feet in 2 hours. Now we hear 25 feet in 1 hour. So...
Your destruction to the surrounding communities and camps along the river like Camp Mystic, where several kids are still missing.
Our goal is to rescue those in peril and find those who are lost.
More than 400 first responders from 20 agencies are searching for victims from the water and the air, making more than 1,000 rescues since Friday.
They know the area, they know the people, they know the emergency.
And this lady's the organizer of the nonprofit group. You know, she ain't doing nothing. Look, her bedroom looks like she's 12 years old.
Managers, and so that's how we...
She's getting rich.
typically start out our operations.
Volunteer teams like Team Rubicon, headquartered in LA, will have boots on the ground tomorrow. This video shows some of the work they do in disasters. Tomorrow, their team will figure out what the greatest needs are and help the communities impacted.
They're really going to kind of get that scope and feel for how big is big and how bad is bad, and how we can best serve the communities. And once that happens, then we move into the next phase of the mission planning process.
And tonight, we're also learning more about some of the victims tragically killed in the flooding. Dr. Catherine Eads was camping in an RV with her husband when she was separated from him in the flooding. Her family saying she was an incredible wife, daughter, mother, grandmother, and person who spent her life helping kids. Heart of the Hills Camp for Girls remembering their director, Jane Ragsdale, for her strong, joyful spirit. For those looking to help.
All right, guys. So that's the Texas flood. You know, hopefully they'll find some survivors alive. Well, that's redundant. Hopefully they'll find some survivors. That, guys. Where are we at? Un momento. Don't change that. Don't change that. This is what we need. All right, guys. With that, it's time. You know what time it is. It's time for the memes. Meme time. This week's meme review is brought to you by viewers like you. Send me money. People order from stores directly and send them to Cajun Navy addresses. Cajun Navy goes all over. What are you talking about? Cajun Navy were there probably. Okay. Huh. Never heard of it. Anyway. Uh-oh, we got something from the beat. Pride Parade followed closely by Disinfectant Parade. Dang.
Why are you gay?
Next. Wow. How to cook, crack, and clean a crab. How to cook, crack, and clean a crab. Step 1, use commas. How to cook, crack, and clean a crab. Instead of how to cook, crack, and clean a crab. Use your commas, guys.
Two mentals don't make a non-mental.
Next. Is there any air fryer that can handle a family of 8? Take it easy, Jeffrey Dahmer. Not funny. The man was sick and mentally unstable. He was not a murderer. Murder is not funny. He was a murderer. Murder is not funny. Somebody said first day on the internet. Yeah, first day on the internet, Karen. Why was that one so short? Oh. Shut up, Terry. Next. Whoa, what the? Holy sh! Look at Kathy Griffith. Look at Dan Carrot Top. Kathy Griffith stepped out in the wild, natural hair, while wearing her own merch. This is what she used to look like. This is what she looks like now. What the? This is what TDS does to you. This is what TDS does to you. That's crazy. Damn. Kathy, what happened to you? Next. Alligator Alcatraz. We've got sharks with freaking alligators on their freaking heads. I said sharks with alligators on their head. We've got sharks with alligators and lasers on their heads. We've got alligators with freaking lasers on their freaking heads. Protecting Alligator Alcatraz. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Trump.
It's a man, baby.
Next. Shut up, phone. You guys want some This is some Southern delicacy. This is a Southern delicacy here. These are chicken pillows mounted with aged Himalayan cheddar and Sicilian pasta, also accompanied with vine-ripened tomato puree. Delicious delicacy there. Wow, that looks really good. That does look good, though. I would eat that. Next. Have fun at work tomorrow, England. Thank you, George Washington. Happy White History Month. Happy 4th of July. It's over. I took Echo outside to watch some fireworks and to do some fireworks myself. I bought a little thing and was doing some fireworks. And I should have left him in the house, but I like to try to get him used to the bang so he doesn't like get paralyzed with fear, because what's he going to do in the apocalypse when we get in a gunfight with a enemy group of raiders? You know, he's going to need to be ready to do work. Otherwise, he's getting eaten. But he was freaking out. And then I'd light the firework and I'd turn around and he's gone. And he's like trying to run. He's just running everywhere. He's trying to run out into the street and stuff. So I had to just take him inside. But thank you, George. You're right. Happy White History Month, George Washington. Have fun at work tomorrow, England. I didn't have to work on the 4th. I was off, but just because it's Friday. We've done this one before for 4th of July, but I love this meme. Hey, Betsy Ross is stitching the flag together, and Betsy says, "Hey Ben, hey John Hancock, hey Thomas, how should I do the stars on the flag?" And they say, "Just spangle them bitches. We've got caps to pop and bodies to drop. Just spangle them bitches." Spangle them bitches up. That's right. Okay, next. It's finally July. Kicking Pride Month in the nuts. Get 'em. America. Fuck yeah. Here to save the motherfucking day, yeah. Next. Robert Downey Jr. is upset that people don't like Iron Shark. They don't like Iron Shark. I knew it was coming for a long time. I knew they were going to make Iron Man into a black woman. We all knew. They did it in the comics a long time ago. And it's not getting good reviews. A lot of people aren't watching it. People are complaining. They don't like it. And of course, the virtue signaling elites of Hollywood are going to tell us it's not because the show's bad. It's because you're a racist. You're a racist if you don't like Ironheart, says Robert Downey Jr. And I liked him. What happened to I'm the dude playing the dude dressed as another dude? What happened to that, Robert Downey Jr.? That was pretty racist. Next. He did blackface. It's okay if they do blackface, but, you know, if you don't like Ironheart, you're a racist. How companies be like on July 1st. Pride flags. Destruction. Destruction. Next. The red copper flip side can fit 6 wieners inside of it. Just like your mom. Where's my dude? Just like your mom. Next. Some random mosquito after drinking a Democrat's blood and getting hit with 502 booster shots and 16 different antidepressants. Next. Kids, don't play with fireworks. Smokey the Bear says, kids, don't play with fireworks. Let the adults who have been drinking all day light them. Set them off. Oh, Dad lost his arm. Dad lost his arm. Sorry, Dad. Next. Afterwards, they asked, how could you let yourself be photographed with a known murderer? Osama apologized, saying, I didn't know, but I regret taking the picture.
Who are the murderers? Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Next. It was at this moment that Becky knew she should stick to making sandwiches. Becky, it's a man's job. Women should not be climbing ladders to clean the gutters. That's a man's job. Let the men do that. You got sandwiches and babies to make. Okay? Go sit on the couch, honey. Let me put a baby in you after I clean these gutters. Next. And this, kids, is how vegans are made. Those are carrots. Those are carrots and an onion. That ain't how that works. That ain't how that works. What happened to,
How about no?
What happened to no? That doesn't work either. I don't think I put that one on here yet. Next. A bookstore in San Francisco announces it will no longer sell titles by J.K. Rowling, including her popular Harry Potter series, due to the author's transgender views and advocacies. Look at me. I ban books now. I ban the books now. Democrats ban the books now, too. Look at that. Shocker. Lots of people like banning books. Next. When you're transgender and you think you're pregnant. Nope. That's just doo-doo. That's just doo-doo.
Two mentals don't make a non-mental.
You don't have a baby in you, Steve.
You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education.
Bro.
Next. Tinder, it's a match. Zoran Mamdani matched with a goat on Tinder. Wow.
Beta.
Next. Whoever said Iran doesn't have an air force doesn't know about these. They got magic carpets in that bitch. Next. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Hey, happy White History Month. Look at that. Teacher Appreciation Week. I appreciate these teachers. What up, ladies? But they like them. Yeah, I'm too old for these ladies. I'm too old for these ladies. I'm aged out. Next. When you're at the DMV and they ask you how much you paid for your vehicle. $1. $1. Closest without going over. Next. You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now get ready for Whore on a Door. It's Whore on a Door. Next. I don't know who this lady is, but she seems to know you. It's tiny. It's tiny. Did you catch Mr. West at JLP Church yesterday? Kanye West? Hassan brought him? Hassan brought Kanye? Yay? To JLP's church? Nuh-uh. Was he wearing full black? Because it's probably a body double. I don't think Hassan's really in with Kanye like that. I think he met him like once in a studio. Yes, sir. Yeah, maybe, I guess. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check that out. That sounds wild to me. If he was wearing full black and a mask and stuff, there's a clip, then I'm kind of like, that seems like something Hassan would do, is like, let's have a fake Kanye come in here. I don't know. I'll have to watch it. That sounds crazy, though. It's legit? All right. Okay, well, I'll have to check it out. That's seems crazy to me, but I'm skeptical. That's why I'll have to look at that. Retard Finder found one. It's you. Well, in this case, it's me, but it's also you guys watching, but it's also me. I'm the retard. I'm the retard. We solved the mystery. Who's the retard? Today on Unsolved Mysteries, who is the retard? It's you. A guy named Woman Propaganda does JLP content. That's like a billion views now. But he's just doing reaction content. He's just basically, like, is he actually reacting? Because some of these channels just steal the content. Anyway, next. Went here and they said, you were the general. Fort Gay. Why are you the general of Fort Gay? You're the general of Fort Gay?
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you.
That means you're gay. Next. You're the general of Fort Gay. Know how I know you're gay? You're the general of Fort Gay. Well played, Walmart. You got the Cool Whip and the chocolate syrup. Got the handcuffs there, too. You got to have the handcuffs with the Cool Whip. Cool Whip. You have to have handcuffs with your Cool Whip. Oh, he's actually reacting? Well, that's good. Next. So as you can see, here's Einstein teaching a historically black college. So as you can see, the smoke detector has a 9-volt battery, which goes right here. Chirp. 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 Next. Hard times create war in the Middle East. Strong men create war in the Middle East. Good times create war in the Middle East. Weak men create war in the Middle East. Damn.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Next. Corrupt mayor creates hard times. Hard times create black DEI hire mayor. Black DEI mayor creates retarded times. Retarded times create Muslim socialist mayor. Dang. Sad for New York. Sad times for New York. And the guys, that is it for the meme. Okay. And we're running short on time. I'm not going to have a lot of time to get to my last segment. I don't even know why I still planned the last segment. I need to just... If you go back and watch the old episodes of the show, I used to have all day Sunday to prep for the show, all day Monday leading up to the show. I wouldn't work. So I would take like 2 days of prep. I would actually write. I would watch things and take notes and actually write notes and make my own like script when I would do my last topics of the show. Even the news, I would write jokes and stuff. I would make my own clips. Like instead of just showing you guys videos from YouTube of news stories, I would clip stuff out of a bunch of news stories and put it together into my own mashup of news clips and make them funny. And I don't have time to do all that stuff anymore. So we've the final segment now is usually just me reading stuff because I don't have the time to put together all my ideas and actually write my own script. But so we just kind of do it off the cuff because I'm not going to have time today to do much. But let's do this rapid fire news, some reels. Not a whole lot, so we could probably get through this.
I teach you a crucial
pretty quick. All right. Here we got a guy teaching his kid how to smuggle Skittles into the movie theater. Based dad. Based dad. I mean, some crimes, it's okay to teach your children. Don't you think? I think. Let's watch some funny reels, and we got some rapid fire news stories.
Lesson about candy and movie theaters, okay? We do not buy candy from the movie theater. We buy it beforehand, all right? But the movie theater doesn't like that. So we have to smuggle the candy in. So we have to hide it. So why don't you hide those Skittles? All right, hide them in your shirt. No, put them in your...
Look at the kid's eyes. The kid's like, what are you telling me? To break the law right now?
Shirt.
I don't want to see them.
Yeah, so the guy can't see them. Exactly. Go ahead. Yep, put them under your shirt. Yeah, all right. And then we're going to walk in. We got to act cool.
Bro, that bag of Skittles is bigger than that kid.
Okay? All right, good guy.
Pocket.
Put what in my pocket?
The Skittles in your pocket.
Skittles in my pocket, dude. That's too obvious. Don't know what's in my pocket. You have the Skittles. You got to act cool. Act cool, dude. You're walking weird. Act cool. Come on, man. Walk cool.
Look at that, man. I see that.
Yeah, no, you look like a narc, dude.
You look like
Stop
a narc,
acting weird,
kid.
all right? Act cool.
You look like a narc, kid.
This.
Look at this fat white girl telling us about how she wants more black men unless she got jungle fever and no white men.
We want this. We love this. We need this. But
If it's small for you guys, she's pointing to a little word block that says black men. She's saying we want and we need black men. What don't we need? White boys.
this.
White
yeah,
boys.
we don't need this.
As a member of the African American community, we would like to humbly decline your offer. Since you don't want your own race, maybe the Hispanics will take you instead. So sorry, you have been declined.
Well, also that guy's kind of zesty. Just saying, he probably doesn't want any women. But anyway,
Thank you for the referral on that, but the Hispanic community, we're gonna have to pass on that. You can check the Asians though.
As a representative of the Asian community, after careful consideration, unfortunately, we cannot take her. She will also be banned from ever taking out Chinese again. Though, we will offer her up to the Indians.
After a not-so-thorough examination as a member of the Indian community, we would also like to humbly deny this offer. Maybe the Egyptians would be interested.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there's no way. Gotta pass this one back to the white boys.
No.
we don't want her either. None of us want
I just
her.
found out my girl.
None of us want that girl. All right, check this out. You ever seen a one-legged guy playing soccer? They got that. I don't know what country this is, but they got one-legged people playing soccer. Watch this. Watch him juke out the goal. This is awesome.
Technology.
Wait, one more time. Watch. He does a fake kick with his missing leg. There's no leg there, but he gestures as if he's kicking.
That's my mom putting gas because she got no.
He gestures like he's gonna kick with the invisible leg, but then he kicks it with the good leg. That's totally juking the goalie out. If I can get it to play. It doesn't want to play now. It's not going to play now. It's frozen. I would have to get it back up. But anyway, he fake kicks with the no leg, and then he jukes out the goalie. Goalie goes total different direction, and then he kicks it in. That's crazy. All right. That's it for the funny reels. Let's do some rapid fire news. This firework explosion in California, this was crazy. 7 missing from Fox News. 7 missing after powerful explosion at a California fireworks facility as evacuation orders remain in place. Let's see if we... I thought I had all the ads taken care of. Hundreds of people are without power and 7 people remain missing after a violent explosion at a fireworks facility in Yolo County, California. Dude, they're going to try to ban fireworks. They're trying to do it here in Utah already. Let's see this.
Starting yesterday at approximately 5:50 in the afternoon. Partners for
It's really quiet. It's not on my end.
Commercial structure fire and explosions. We arrived on scene to find
Commercial structure firework.
buildings well involved with numerous explosions and several spot fires in the area spread out throughout the area.
There's no video of it. This guy's just talking. Oh, wait. Here's some video. Hopefully they don't give us an ad. Another ad. At least 2 people were injured in the explosion, which happened just before 6 p.m. local time at a facility housing commercial fireworks in Esparto. During a news conference on Wednesday, Esparto Fire Chief Curtis Lawrence confirmed firefighters initially entered the building, but were later pulled out due to the severity and risks that were there. Here's some video. Oh, you just see the fireworks going off in there. Look at all the sparklers and cracklers going off. Wow, that's crazy. Well, happy 4th of July, California. Houses are in fire in surrounding areas. Some people's trailers got totally demolished. At least it seems that it's not like in a heavily populated area. Like everything around here is all kind of empty. That's probably the house of the owner of the factory. Or the, not factory, but the warehouse. Dang. That's wild. I don't know. This is a fairly new article, so missing people. I don't know if they're confirmed dead yet. More than 30 fire apparatus responded. Only a few remained. I can say I have not seen anything like this. Obviously, an incident of great magnitude. So that's wild. What else we got in rapid fire news? 4 dead, 14 wounded in River North mass drive-by shooting. Hold the Glock sideways like O-Dog. Are they going to count this as a mass shooting, or would that be racist? In Chicago, 4 people were killed and 14 were wounded in a mass drive. They were trying to hit one guy, and they killed 4 other people and injured 14. They probably didn't even hit their target. Wednesday night, outside of a nightclub in River North, Chicago police confirmed. Gunfire erupted around 11 p.m. outside Arts Restaurant and Lounge, as well as Dunkin' Donuts. Damn, you just trying to get some dang blueberry coffee, some blueberry crisp coffee from Dunkin'. You getting shot at in Chicago? Come on, Chicago. Had a front window shot out. A number of clubs and businesses are located. Witnesses say they heard rapid fire and a car racing out of the area. Do they have the cell phone video? From people screaming to blood on the streets, people laying on the streets, just a massive police presence. This ad will hurry up. I'm not watching all these advertisements, but anyway, video shows chaotic scene at River North mass shooting. Too many ads. A worker at the nightclub told WGN it was holding an album release party for a Chicago rapper named Mellow Bucks, whose real name is Melanie Doyle. Is it a woman rapper? I'm so tired of woman rappers. I've never liked woman rappers.
Hospital with details on the investigation.
A scene witnesses say looked like a war zone, something out of a movie unfolding in the city's River North neighborhood late Wednesday night.
Absolute chaos, from people screaming to blood on the streets.
Just after 11, Chicago police say at least one, if not more, gunmen opened fire from a path.
It's White History Month. We're gonna go and shoot up a club. I thought just white people did mass shootings. It seems like that's a bullshit fact. Because all the gang violence doesn't count. Because it leads to racist statistics.
Passing car into a crowd of people leaving a space rented out for an event.
I noticed the police officers were running to the ambulance, and he had the young lady on his.
Yo, Unc got a joint in his ear. Okay, so that's crazy. What do we got here? I don't know if this is a clickbait fake story, because when there's all these ads, it might be fake. But apparently, some boy saw a viral challenge on TikTok. I don't know what kind of viral TikTok challenge this is, but he injected butterfly into himself. He crushed up butterfly wings, put them in a syringe, and slammed it in his leg, and he died. They don't really know why he died. They don't know if a particle clogged up his arteries or something, or if there was a chemical in it. One of the many young victims of this trend was 14-year-old Davy Nunes Moraia from Brazil. After starting to limp and vomit, the boy initially told his father that he had hurt himself while playing. However, when his condition worsened and his father discovered a syringe under his pillow, the young boy confessed to hospital staff what he had done. Apparently, Davy had taken a dead butterfly, crushed it, mixed the remains with water, and injected the resulting liquid into his right leg. This act is believed to have been part of an online challenge, as reported by the Daily Mail. While some Brazilian media outlets are also speculating that Davy may have been inspired by an online experiment, it is reported that the teen denied this claim right before his death. I mean, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, fuck around, find out. Natural selection, maybe. Why are you injecting butterfly into your leg, Davy? You are the weakest link. I'm sorry. You know, I hate to clown on the dead, but come on now. What do you expect me to say? This kid injected butterfly into his leg. What did you think you were going to start flying? What did you think you were going to be like Butterfly Man? If you think you're going to get superpowers, at least pick a cooler bug. A butterfly? Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Two mentals don't make a non-mental.
I can shoot up Butterfly, Dad. I'll be fine.
You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education.
Bro.
That's crazy. All right. What else we got? ICE agents allegedly pee in a school parking lot near a preschool playground. People on Facebook were freaking out about this. Bunch of ICE agents, because they're stationed somewhere, they rapidly station them in areas to get their job done. They didn't have a toilet anywhere nearby. So a couple guys peed by some storage containers and got caught on camera. And now they're freaking out because some ICE agents peed at a school. School officials in Pico Rivera are calling for an investigation after ICE agents came on campus and allegedly urinated out in the open. You can see here, he's not in the open. He's in a shadowy corner. And then this guy's over by, they're peeing on the sides of storage crates. There's no people out here. It's not like they're just pissing on the slide while Rico is going down it. Surveillance video shared by the district appears to show nearly a dozen agents peeing near storage containers. There's a 15-second ad. The district says the area is near a preschool playground and an elementary school that was in session. Incident happened on the morning of June 17th at Ruben Salazar High School in Rico Rivera. The El Rancho. Why does none of this sound American? Ruben Salazar, Pico Rivera, El Rancho Unified School District. Are we in America or Mexico? What is this? Let's see. There's no audio, but here's them pulling in. They get out of their trucks. Dude, they had a long drive. They got to pee. So this guy runs off over here. This guy's over here by this storage. They're just taking a pee. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. It'd be all right. See, they're like in between a storage crate and a fence in a shadowy area. Then this guy's like, I don't know where to go, man. He's like, I just went right there. He's like, all right, I will too. The people are freaked out about these guys peeing at the school. Oh, man. Hopefully they don't get hit with like some lewd and lascivious charge, because they could, since it's near a school. Lots of Mexican names in Southern Texas, I know. Anyway, more rapid fire news. Trump announces 2026 UFC fight at White House for America's 250th birthday. 4th of July, 2026, America's 250th birthday, UFC fight at the White House. I'm so hype. I'm so hype. And the Democrats on X and stuff, they're like, this is a shame. It's shameful for America. Look at this. And they'll have AI pictures of a UFC ring in front of the White House, and they're all upset and they're crying about it. Shut up. But there's more to this story. President Trump announced plans to host a UFC fight on the White House lawn in 2026 as part of America's 250th birthday celebration. Dude, I would love to go to this. Let's start a send Josh to the White House for a UFC fight fund. The ticket's probably going to be like $3,000 just for the fight. And then we're going to have to also need plane tickets and hotel stay. So we need to raise $5,000 by July of next year. But we also got the new car fund. So I'm going to need to grift. I'm going to need to turn up the grifting. We got a new car fund, and we got to go to the White House UFC fight fund. Trump said the event, organized by UFC CEO Dana White, could draw as many as 25,000 spectators. The announcement was made during remarks at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, where Trump outlined other America 250 festivities across the country. But the interesting thing about this, I have the MMA Weekly article here. John Jones returns from retirement 2 weeks after relinquishing his UFC title. So Tom Aspinall is the undisputed now. But John posted on X. Let's see if they have the post here. Fighting at the White House, ? And then there was one other tweet. Just re-entered the testing pool. That lasted for about 2 weeks. Figured we keep everyone's options open. So he's back in the UFC testing pool. That means he's got to get clean from drugs. You've got 1 year to get clean from all the drugs you're on so that you can fight at the White House. I think Trump tapped him and said, Tom, a lot of people want to see you keep fighting. You need to set the gloves down at the White House in the UFC arena after fighting Tom Aspinall. But that's a year from now. Tom needs to get active. He wants to get active. So he's going to need to fight. Maybe he fights Gon. I don't think Ngannou's coming back. I don't think he's going to fight Ngannou. But it would be so messed up if Tom has a bad night and he like loses to a Cyril Gane or something. That would be horrible. That would be so lame. Because then Gane versus Jones has already happened. So Tom needs to like at least get 1, maybe 2 fights in before July. Retain the belt, 2 defenses, and then John Jones versus Tom Aspinall happens at the White House on America's 250th birthday during White History Month, and Tom destroys John Jones. This is the epic. This would make my decade. This is what we need, boys and girls. This is what we need in our lives. Tom Aspinall's 3rd undisputed title defense is at the White House against John Jones during White History Month on 4th of July. And he just crushes John Jones. No more questions. John lays the glove down in the ring. Oh, man. Oh, man. That would be the most epic thing ever. Last thing in rapid fire news, some updates on the Diddy case. The verdict is in. Diddy did not get hit with RICO. He did not get hit with conspiracy. Basically, Diddy is a convicted pimp now. New album coming soon. New Diddy album dropping soon. Hot off the press. Pimpin' Ain't Easy. Diddy's going to make an album all about being a pimp. He's going to have Bishop Don Juan, Snoop Dogg on the album. Maybe Fifth will make a appearance. Bum, 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 bum. Bump. Spin G's, one be Pimpsy Timothy's got chicks in the back of the truck laughing it up. Diddy's making a new album. Acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering, convicted on prostitution-related counts. Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty Wednesday of transportation to engage in prostitution in his federal trial in New York City, but the musical mogul was acquitted of the more severe charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He will remain in detention while he waits sentencing. Judge Arun Subramanian said later Wednesday he denied bail because he disagreed with the defense's argument that crime shouldn't trigger mandatory detention. Combs will get 10 months credit for time served so far, the judge said, proposing a sentencing date of October 30. I think he'll probably get released. He'll probably get released on time served at sentencing. Maybe have some probation. Combs was convicted to 2 counts of prostitution-related charge. Each count carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. He's not going to get that, though. Prosecutors said their preliminary calculations indicate Combs should get at least 51 to 63 months of imprisonment on the 2 convictions, or a sentence of roughly 4 to 5 years. I don't think he'll get that either. I think he'll get time served and probation. Depends on how extensive his record is, I guess. But he's got money. I think he gets released, time served, and probation. That's my guess. Combs looked at his family and made prayer hands, then nodded. Dude, in the court art or whatever, you know, we always make fun of the court artist drawings. He's like under a table praying. Here, this one right here. Like, did he really get down on his knees under the table and start praying? Come on, man. And is his hair white now? Maybe if he's been in prison, he can't get his Just for Men. He might have white hair now. But that's it for rapid fire news, guys. We got 40 minutes to do our last little segment here. Basically, I'm just going to be reading through some things. I need to do some studying up for my debate with John. This is one thing that I wanted to look into before the debate came up. So the last couple weeks, we've been kind of doing debate prep while we do the show. We talked about what the Bible says about politics and Christianity last week. This week, we're going to talk about great Christian rulers, because I figure if I'm arguing that Christians should be political and involved in politics, and the church should be involved in politics and governments and things like that, then I need to have some examples of some great Christian rulers. First one, we're gonna go to Constantine. We talked about how hold on, let me open my bookmarks real quick. This is 36 tabs of files on debate prep, basically. Constantine, the Byzantine Empire, Byzantine or Byzantine? Byzantium. We got a bunch of articles to look through here and things to read, but I really just want to Eusebius. Eusebius is he's a church historian. He's not a church father because they disagreed with him. He had some Arian views. People will argue that Eusebius's Arian views are actually what led him to be more of a theocrat and a political theologian. He's the father of political theology, Eusebius. Some people will say that Charles Schmidt, what's his name? Some people will say Carl Schmidt, the Yahtzee, is the father of political theology, introducing politics into theology or theology into politics, political theology. But Carl Schmidt is not actually the father of it. The father of it is Eusebius. He was a church historian. Arians are based, not that kind of Arian, Matthew. It's not spelled that way. Spelled with an I. He believed in a hierarchical order of God, which I heard a clip Andrew posted where he was arguing with a guy about this. Some guy brought up the order of God, and Andrew questioned it and said, that's not good Christology, but it's straight from the Bible. It says, God is the head of Christ, as Christ is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. God over Christ, over man, over woman, over children. And I don't know why Andrew was attacking that, because even the Orthodox and the Catholics will say that Jesus submit to the Father. The Son does submit to the Father repeatedly. He says it blatantly that he submits to the Father. So, and it's repeated ad nauseum through the Bible that it's God, Christ, man, woman, children. Christ submits to his Father. Yes. And so anyway, Eusebius argued that this is a hierarchical system of order that we should use in government and politics. And they said, yeah, but Christ is God. So how can he submit to God? How can there be a hierarchical structure? Almost seems like Christian anarchy to not have a hierarchical system. But that's fine. Christian anarchy, even if it's totally valid, it's still a political theology or a political philosophy. I'm smart. But Eusebius wanted to get the church more involved in the government. What this did was boosted Constantine's popularity among Christians in Rome, which led to the Byzantine Empire, which is one of the greatest Christian empires in history, one of the best examples we can point to. But there's a list here just from Wikipedia. I'm going to run through a list of Christian empires. We have Eastern Orthodox monarchs, Oriental Orthodox monarchs, Protestant monarchs, Roman Catholic monarchs, 10th century Bulgarian czars, Christian royal saints. We have the Byzantine Empire, from Abraham, Alfonso of Congo, Ibikunkel Akitoyu, a nun from Russia, a nun Jacob, Ariamir, Althoff, and those are just the A's. Harold Bluetooth, Harold Harefoot, Henry II, the Holy Roman Emperor. Just some names of some Christian monarchs. Nut, C-N-U-T, also known as Canute, with the epithet the Great, was King of England from 1016, King of Denmark from 1018, and King of Norway from 1028 until his death in 1035. The three kingdoms united under Canute's rule and are referred together as the North Sea Empire by historians. He was a Christian. Olaf. Isn't Vladimir the Great? Where's They don't even have Constantine on here. But these are just some Christian monarchs. But I want to read about Constantine, the Byzantine Empire. Happy White History Month, Constantine, also known as Constantine the Great, was a Roman emperor from AD 306 to 337 and the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity. He played a pivotal role in elevating the status of Christianity in Rome, decriminalizing Christian practice, and ceasing Christian persecution. So as Christians, shouldn't we support the guy who's trying to get into office, who's going to stop Christians from getting their heads cut off? Seems like a good thing to me. This was a turning point in the Christianization of the Roman Empire. He founded the city of Constantinople and made it the capital of the empire, which it remained for over a millennium. Upon his ascension, Constantine enacted numerous reforms to strengthen the empire. He restructured the government, separating civil and military authorities. To combat inflation, he introduced the solidus, a new gold coin that became the standard for Byzantine and European currencies for more than 1,000 years. The Roman army was reorganized to consist of mobile units, often around the emperor, to serve on campaigns against external enemies or Roman rebels, and frontier garrison troops, which were capable of countering barbarian raids. Although Constantine lived much of his life as a pagan and later as a catechumen, he began to favor Christianity beginning in 312, finally becoming a Christian and being baptized by Eusebius of Nicomedia, an Arian bishop, although the Catholic Church and the Coptic Orthodox Church maintained that he was baptized by Pope Sylvester. He played an influential role in the proclamation of the Edict of Milan in 313, which declared tolerance for Christianity in the Roman Empire. I need to take notes on this stuff. The Edict of Milan. Constantine. Eusebius. The father of political theology. Not Carl Schmitt. And I think Mosman told me that he thought Christianity was politicized in the 700s. I'm not sure what he's referring to, but it was happening in the 300s. I would say it was happening during Jesus. I would say it was happening in the Old Testament. The papal claim to temporal power in the High Middle Ages was based on the fabricated donation of Constantine. He has historically been referred to as the first Christian emperor, but while he did favor the Christian church, some modern scholars debate his beliefs and even his comprehension of Christianity. Nevertheless, he is venerated as a saint in Eastern Christianity, and he did much to push Christianity towards mainstream of Roman culture. The Edict of Milan. Edict of Milan reduced Christian persecution. Tolerance for Christianity. And that doesn't mean forcing people to believe in it. Tolerance for Christianity. We stop cutting their heads off and murdering them. Seems good to me. age of Constantine marked a distinct epoch in the history of Roman Empire and a pivotal moment in the transition from classical antiquity to the Middle Ages. He built a new imperial residence in the city of Byzantium, which was officially named New Rome, while also taking on the name Constantinople in his honor. It subsequently served as the capital of the empire for more than 1,000 years, with the Eastern Roman Empire for most of that period commonly referred to retrospectively as the Byzantium Empire. And I think we have some articles on that. Okay, maybe this is what he's talking about. The rise of Christian kingdoms from 500 to 1000 AD. Christian kingdoms of the early Middle Ages. Hold on one sec. This is from CatholicHeritageHistory.com. There are two parts of the story of the conversion of Europe to Christianity. The first is the story of the monks and monasteries that preserved and passed on the culture, liturgy, and traditions of Christianity and played a great role in the spread of the faith throughout Europe. The monasteries produced thousands of saints, and their contribution to Catholic civilization are discussed in the Catholic Culture Program. The other important bulwark of Christendom was a network of Catholic kingdoms and principalities that arose on the ruins of the Roman Empire. Beginning in area, well, yeah, but it was started before 500. It was starting in 300. But I think John's going to argue about this Catholic uprising of kingdoms from 500 to 1000. But it was happening before then. It was happening since the Old Testament. It was commanded in the Old Testament repeatedly. Were very diverse. They arose from tribes with independent governments, dissimilar languages, diverse economies and climates, and unique customs, yet all adopted the Christian faith and worship and submitted to the laws of the church. The Catholic Church was the great unifying principle of medieval Europe. Instead of warring tribes and anarchy, an alliance of independent Christian kingdoms arose throughout Europe during the early Middle Ages, first in formerly Roman territories and then throughout Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Scandinavia. The Christian kingdoms of Europe were, the Christian kingdoms arose. Christian kingdoms of Europe were independently governed, but unified in law, customs, and morals by their common religion based. Adherence to the laws of the church, especially regarding marriage, was essential for making alliances and recognizing the legitimacy of hereditary rule. Respect for Christian morality and feudal obligations helped safeguard the rights and security of the peasant classes. In these and many other ways, Christian laws, customs, and loyalties were essential in providing a measure of stability, peace, and common culture to the diverse nations of Europe. 500 to 1000 Catholic kingdoms rose up from the ruins. Of Rome. So here's some maps. Germanic tribes had established Aryan kingdoms and formerly Roman provinces. Catholicism had spread throughout. By 1000 AD, Catholicism had spread throughout Europe, and Christian kingdoms were established from the Iberian Peninsula to the Far East. Muslim Spain. Spain was Muslim. Byzantine Empire is all down here. Which is, I guess, that's like the Fertile Crescent and stuff is in there. They got the best land. The conversion of the peoples of Europe to Christianity took hundreds of years, and the story of each nation is unique. Each country has a different history with special saints and national heroes that were responsible for bringing the tribe or region to the family of Christian kingdoms. Below is a list of some of the most important heroes of the faith involved in the conversion of Western Europe to Christianity. Some are monks and missionaries, others are kings or bishops, and others are queens who implored their spouses to enter the church. Oh, the wife was nagging at you to join the church, and so the husband joined. Happy wife, happy life. Did you ever heard the Lori Daywell? Lori Vallow, the Doomsday Mom? She killed her kids and like 2 of her ex-husbands and her new husband's wife, and they were in a cult, Mormon cult, and they thought the end of the world was coming, and they're just killing all their family members and stuff. That was a situation like this. Her first husband was Catholic. She got him to convert to Mormonism, and then she killed him, allegedly. I don't know if they got her on that one, but she's in jail doing life. That lady's crazy. So 312, Constantine makes Christianity legal in the Roman Empire. This is an important little timeline for me to study up on. In 350, Ophilas converts the Visigoths and Ostrogoths to Arian Christianity. 450, St. Patrick converts the Irish. In 500, St. Remy and Clotilde convert Clovis, the king of the Franks. 520, St. Benedict establishes monasteries throughout Italy. 550, St. Columba and Irish ministries establish monasteries in Scotland. 600, St. Columbanus founds Celtic missions in Eastern Gaul and Switzerland. In 600, St. Leander of Seville converts Ricared, king of the Visigoths in Hispania. 600, St. Augustine of Kent converts the Anglo-Saxon king of England. 750, St. Boniface leads a mission of British... Wasn't he the one that Christmas is loosely based off of? Leads a mission of British monks to convert the Frisians in Germany. 780, Charlemagne forces the conversion of Witikind, king of German Saxons. Forces the conversion? Can you force somebody to convert? I don't know about that one. 850, St. Cyril and Methodius convert the Slavs of Moravia in Czech Republic. In 850, St. Ansgar, the Bishop of Hangard, who was a missionary to the Swedes and Scandinavians. 880, Alfred the Great forces the conversion of Guthrum, leader of the Danish invaders of England. In 880, Rollo the Viking converts to Christianity and becomes Duke of Normandy. See, as soon as you convert to Christianity, you go from being a savage Viking to a king. Almost like it's part of God's plan. 1000, St. Adalbert of Prague, Bishop of Prague, missionary to Poles, Czechs, and Prussians. 1000, St. Olaf, the king of Norway, converts his Viking subjects to Christianity. And 1000, St. Stephen, king of Hungary, converts his Magyar subjects to Christianity. Conversion of Germanic barbarian kingdoms, the rise and fall of the Frankish Empire, the Franks, the Frankish Empire. Norsemen and Danish attacks on coastal regions, the rise of the Normans. The Normans, comedy. Converting Germanic tribes, the Frankish Empire, the rise of the Holy Roman Emperor, Muslim, Norse, and Magyar invasions of Europe. I wish I could make this picture bigger. There we go. That's a little bigger. So here's some borders. Invasions in Europe from 700 to 1000. So all these people were invading, trying to kill the Christians. Viking areas, these purple ones are but one of those Vikings became a king after he converted. The Magyar invasions, the Muslim invasion routes, all the orange are Muslim invasion routes, all the purple are Viking invasion routes, and all of the green are Magyar invasion routes. So there's all these pagans and people were trying to invade and kill the Christians, so we had to team up and wipe them out and convert them. Show me the way. Normand. So there's some examples. What else we got? The concept of kings and rulers in Christianity. Early Christianity defined kings and rulers as individuals holding positions of authority and governance. These figures were due respect and obedience from the general populace. The definition highlights the hierarchical structure recognized within early Christian thought, acknowledging secular leaders and their role in society. This understanding likely influenced early Christians' interactions with the Roman Empire and other governing bodies. Yeah, it's all throughout the Bible. Respect ma authorita, respect the authorities because God appoints them. And a righteous leader leads his people to righteousness, and a wicked leader causes the people to groan. It's not good if you have a wicked ruler. And if we're capable, you know, there's going to be systems that are more authoritarian where the people have no say in who's king. But in America, we do have some say over who's in charge of our cities, counties, towns, neighborhoods, HOAs, country, military, departments, all these things. We have some say over who gets in charge. So as Christians, we ought to join together and make sure righteous people get into positions of power. If we joined together and did that and it happened, it will happen because it's God's plan and that he appointed it. If it doesn't happen, if we just keep hiding under rocks, we're going to end up with our heads cut off. And that's also part of God's plan. So since we don't know the future, we ought to act as if we can do something to change it. What else we got? Gloria Romanorum, the 9 greatest rulers of the Christian Roman Empire. Pulcheria, Justinian I, Constantius II, Valentinian, Constantine I, Heraclius, Majorian, Theodosius, and Maurice. I'm going to have to read through this later. I don't have time tonight. Constantine the Great, Constantius II. Of the sons of Constantine the Great, Constantius proved to be the most effective. Valentinian I, a good man and capable of holding the reins of the empire. Valentinian rose through the ranks of the Roman military to become the leader of the elite Jovian and Herculean divisions. A steadfast Christian, he endured the hostility of the emperor. He endured. But while he endured, he didn't just stay placid. He was active and he got involved. And then he became king. Theodosius I, a Spaniard by birth, Theodosius was elevated to the imperial throne in the aftermath of the catastrophic Battle of Adrianople, where Roman field army was annihilated by the Emperor Valens was killed. Pulcheria, the daughter of Pulcheria is a girl, ruled as regent for her brother, the child Emperor Theodosius II, for many years. Majorian, considered the last effective Western Roman emperor. Majorian rose to power along with the barbarian Ricimer. Both men served under the powerful general Aetius. Together they navigated the chaotic political and military situation of the mid-5th century Gaul. Justinian I, Maurice, Heraclius. After the death of Heraclius in AD 641, the empire carried on, but it would never again regain the size, power, or hegemony that it had originally possessed. It would, however, continue to transmit its wealth of culture, learning, religious heritage, and history far into the future. So these Christians getting in positions of power have lasting effects around the world. And it's an example of what can happen if you have a righteous king. The Byzantine Empire, just a quick AI overview from Google, also known as the Eastern Roman Empire, was the continuation of the Roman Empire in its eastern provinces after the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD. It lasted for over 1,000 years, from 330 AD to 1453 AD, with its capital in Constantinople, or modern-day Istanbul. The Byzantine Empire maintained many Roman traditions, including legal systems, administrative structures, and self-identification as Romans. Constantinople, strategically located on the Bosphorus Strait, served as the empire's center of power and a major hub for trade and culture. While initially Roman, the empire gradually shifted to Greek as its primary language. Eastern Orthodox Christianity became the dominant religion, differentiating the Byzantine Empire from the Western Roman Catholic Church. Byzantine culture was a blend of Roman, Greek, and Christian influences with unique contributions in art, architecture, law, and theology. So the Byzantine Empire seems pretty based.
Redeem Google Play points and score limited edition merch. Hold
on, I think we got a little video here. What are they talking about? Oh my gosh, 2 ads. Double ad.
Empire itself, though they still considered themselves Roman, thought Constantinople to be the capital of the world and the holiest city of the Christian kingdoms. During the early 500s, the empire would reach new heights under the Justinian dynasty. It was founded in 518 by Justin I, but it was the next emperor, his nephew Justinian, that had visions of past grandeur. His dream was a Renovatio Imperii Romanorum, a project to restore the Roman Empire.
I knew that's what
Under
that meant.
Justinian's general, Belisarius, one of the all-time greatest, an invasion was launched west.
Happy White History
The
Month,
first
guys.
targets were the Vandals. After the Germanic band's sacking of Rome, they continued their...
You got to get the Vandals. We can't be having Vandals running around here. You pray for the leaders even if you don't like them. Yeah, you submit to them even if you don't like them. Just like Jesus submit to being crucified by Romans who didn't like him. He still submit to his authorities.
migrations, and settled in North Africa, forming a kingdom.
But submitting to authorities doesn't mean that if they're bad, you should just hide under a rock. What you do is you organize and you try to get active and you try to use the system, whatever ways you have, to make sure that you get a righteous king in place. Because it does tell us to submit to the authorities, but it also tells us that God is the true authority and that he appoints those authorities, and basically we get the kings we deserve. So we need to act right. We need to get involved to make sure that we get the right guys in there.
Though they outnumbered the Eastern Roman armies, they became complacent and didn't take advantage of a decisive opportunity, which instead let Belisarius choose the time and place of attack, and the Vandals were routed.
What is this, Age
By
of Empires?
534, the Vandal kingdom fell to the Eastern Romans, and the first phase of the project was complete. After being recalled home, Belisarius then sailed to Sicily and the Italian peninsula in 535, which at this time was occupied by the Ostrogothic kingdom, which we mentioned last episode.
This is 45 minutes long. I'm probably going to watch it tonight at work. I'm going to be doing some research tonight at work, listening to stuff about great Christian empires and Christian rulers and Christian kings, Christian presidents. So that's the stuff that I want to be researching tonight. My opening's pretty much done, written. I got one last argument paragraph and then a conclusion paragraph. And I've already got it pretty much put together how I'm going to write it. I just got to type it up. But so this week we'll just be doing some last minute research on things like this. Great Christian empires, great Christian rulers throughout history. Brushing up a little more on studying up on understanding Christian anarchy. And just practicing my opening. So basically I'll read it while I'm recording on my phone. I'll read it once and time it. And if we're close on time, then I'll read it again, read it and record it with no mistakes. And that way, while I'm at work, I can just listen to it a couple times a night and say it along with myself and help commit it to memory. I'll still be reading it at the debate off the screen, but if you've read something a bunch and you've listened to it a bunch, you don't actually have to read every word. You can kind of just say it, but also check your screen every now and then to make sure that you're reading it right. That's what I do for debates. But righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns any people. That's Proverbs 14:34. 1 Peter 2:13 through 17. Submit yourself for the Lord's sake to every human authority, whether to the emperor as the supreme authority or to governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and to commend those who do right. For it is God's will that by doing good, you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the family of believers. Fear God and honor the emperor. There you go. That's 1 Peter 2:13 through 17. So just some, I'm sneaking in some debate prep into the Monday night show. But it's an interesting topic, Christian empires and stuff, and I want to learn more about these things. I need to do more reading. I know we don't have a lot of time in the show to get really deep into this stuff, but I will be studying up. So I want to know about these Christian kings and Christian monarchies and theocracies and great empires throughout history that were ran by Christians, how they got into power, what they did once they had power. You know, so I can study to show myself approved and have some discernment about, you know, what the right thing to do for a Christian politically is. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. We had a low viewer count tonight. What did people see my White History Month shirt and they're like, "Oh, he's racist. Oh, he's a racist." Shut up. Low viewer count tonight. Let's see who we can raid. Crucible's live. That's where I'm going to be watching, so I'm just going to send you over there because I'm going to be watching that too. A 5-person raid to the Crucible. They're probably going to laugh at me and make fun of me in the chat, but whatever. It is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Monday night, kicking the week off right. It's the Dreaded Conservative Show. It's the Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. I will see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Actually, I probably won't stream tomorrow morning. I'm probably going to finish writing. I got to finish writing this thing, and that's it's going to be at least like 30, 45 minutes. It depends if I get home in time and write it up. Maybe we'll do some Bible study in the morning, but it's likely I'm going to take tomorrow morning off and finish writing. But the next day, we will definitely be here for some more Bible study. We got to get through 2 Kings. It's a long book, long chapters. But thank you guys for hanging out. God bless. And we'll go hang out at the Crucible and watch this debate Andrew's having. So I'll see you guys later. We out. Peace.